Welcome to A to Z Movie Night, where a few film nerds gather around a bottle of whiskey to watch a movie. A to Z Movie Night may contain spoilers and is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
These idiot kids, all you history buffs listening, you know what I'm talking about? You got that reference, I mean,
he just laid down on a slab and just died there.
That's a great one, Tim.
I got nothing.
That's a great one, Kevin. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
he's like, my name's Zach Bowman, and you know, I just really like movie too. It had nothing to do with my.
And he drank every day starting at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Hey, I'm your host, Aaron. I'm here with my co-host. I don't think that sounded right. Co-hosts. Yeah.
It's a horror movie.
Tim and Zach, y'all say hey.
Hey.
Hello, cheers.
Yeah, tonight we're watching Aliens, the sequel. It is a 1986 American science fiction action film written and directed by James Cameron, produced by Gail Anna Hurd, and starring Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, and I'm going to read the synopsis actually from the back of the special edition VHS. that Tim brought.
Yes.
In this action-packed sequel to Alien, Sigourney Weaver returns as Ripley, the only survivor from mankind's first encounter with the monstrous alien. Her account of the alien and the fate of her crew are received with skepticism until the mysterious disappearances of colonists on LV-426 lead her to join a team of high-tech colonial marines sent in to investigate. Virtually supervised by director James Cameron. And we are watching a special edition. I think it's 17 minutes.
17 minutes.
Of extra footage. So let's get away and let's kick this movie. One.
All right, guys.
Cheers.
Those of y'all listening along, pick them glasses up. Cheers. Clinky clink.
This is I think the second film we've done in our series.
The sequel is better than the original. That's where you're going. Y'all hype?
This is one that people. This is one of my favorite films of all time. I've been really excited to do this one because it is not just one of my favorite sci-fi films, but it's definitely in my top 10 of all time.
Really?
Oh yeah, might even squeeze its way into the top 5. It's so.
It's
perfect.
iconic. It's
Yeah.
iconic. It really is, yeah.
And a lot of people argue, like, well, Aliens isn't better than the first one. It's hard to. It's almost like apples and oranges.
Because, yeah, those are two totally different movies, you know?
But this movie just really, it was the perfect way to do a sequel to that.
They don't even feel like the same movie. They're, you know, one's a horror movie, one's an action movie. Game over, man.
James Horner's very iconic score to this film.
Like that.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. We watched the trailer. It's
That
a musical
militaristic
cue.
kinda-
Yeah, they do it twice in the movie, or maybe even 3 times, and it's been reused in trailers and all sorts of things over and over ever since then. Alien effects created by the great Stan Winston. Of course, H.R. Giger did the original xenomorph design for the first film.
Yeah, he did the design of the ships, all of that.
Yeah, he came up with the xenomorph, but then in this one,
Was it like he had done? He had
already
made the
drawn
art
that stuff
before, and they brought him in.
yeah.
Yeah, because if you look at all of his old art and stuff like that, it looks exactly like Alien. It's very grotesque.
Yeah,
it's very grotesque.
And even
art,
sexualized a lot. A lot of his stuff. There's a lot of
rape monsters,
vaginas and stuff. You know, looking things and
a lot of suicide too. A lot of suicide in his art.
Yeah, very dark.
Yeah, very dark. But actually, what's really funny is apparently he was a very pleasant man.
Oh yeah, if you see him in interviews and stuff, he's this short,
he's
little, like kind
guy.
of soft-spoken, silly guy.
Yeah, with a dark fucking art style.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something too. So this is going to be kind of a what do you call that? Confession or whatever. But so the other night when I was at work at the bar and I was like bored because it was in the 9 o'clock hour and when nobody was there, I was like, screw it. So I got on Tinder and I was just like swiping, and I ended up messaging this one girl because where it tells you know how you like everyone says their college or whatever.
Yeah.
She said that she went to Stan Winston's school of
really?
visual arts. So I had a message. I was like,
swipe.
Yeah.
I was like, that's badass.
That's
you
really
actually went to
cool.
Stan Winston? And she's like, yeah, I did. And then I was like, all right, cool. All right, bye.
Yeah.
Oh, that was it.
That was it. I just but I was like, wow,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, it is really cool.
This obviously picks up right where the first film ended. Well, you find out in a minute, not right 57 years later, but of that big crane shot. This, I mean, for 1985 when they were making this, the effects hold up very well. Like, I always thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
I mean, that's practical though.
Yeah,
it's
all
just a
practical.
laser
laser.
and smoke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a bunch of smoke in the room, but it just looks really cool on film.
Anyone's going to an EDM concert.
Yeah, anybody can do
EDM
that.
concert, have you?
No, God, no. My head would explode.
They have too many drugs at EDM concerts. I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah. So, James Cameron, Gail Ann Hurd was the producer. They were actually
We've done
married.
so many Gil and Hurd movies.
Yeah,
at this
they
point.
They were the Terminator team, right?
Yeah, they worked together on Terminator. They were married at the time. This was before he ended up getting married to Linda Hamilton later on. But yeah, they did several movies together.
She did of the movies that we've done. This one,
She has a very long,
Dante's Peak.
well-established track record.
Let's just change the name of this podcast to like Gail Hurd's movies. Yeah, we'll just do her whole repertoire.
Yeah, come on the show, Gail.
Or don't sue us
Don't yeah.
for all these copyright infringements that we like.
I mean, you can take our monetization if you want. You can do that if you want, Gail.
Everything in this, down to the sound design, just when the guy takes his mask off, just the air. I mean, it really is a masterpiece. I'm not gonna suck the movie's dick too hard.
Yeah, you will.
That's obviously maquettes, matte painting
Yeah.
in the background, a combination of the both.
Yeah, the sound has to be like that though, because in space, I mean, it's a vacuum, so when you're inside, there's no ambient noise around. So
Yeah.
every little thing you do. Imagine being an astronaut, being in like the International Space Station, and like being up there for like 6 months, and the other astronaut from like say Russia or something's up there just does shit that you hate, like he eats with his mouth open or something, and that's all you get to listen to is.
I bet they have a protocol about that though. Like eating with your mouth open will let particles out. So
Yeah, it just gets in the air.
I'm
Or
sure
just
they're-
like he just like
non-air.
reads his book in a fucked up way where he like slides the pages and you just
Or he licks his finger real
I would
big
just go
to turn
crazy.
the page. Enter Paul Reiser, who was known only as a comedic. He was like doing stand-up back then. This was before Mad About You and all
Yeah.
that shit. But he was they wanted to bring somebody in that would be very unassuming, like
very schmarmy.
he's the company man,
yeah.
but he doesn't seem threatening because people at the time knew him as a comedic actor. So he was kind of.
Well, I mean,
It's when you find out that he's the guy that is fucked.
yeah.
It comes as more of a shock.
It didn't come to a shock to me because I hate bureaucrats.
Yeah, well, yeah. You always know that guy's got a tie on. This is the future, and he's the only one in a suit, so he's got to be a bad guy.
This is kind of a little mindfuck scene.
Yeah.
7 years. What happened was you had drifted right through the core systems, and it's really just blind luck.
Yeah, she's been drifting in space for 57 years, so.
It's 1 in 1,000, really. I think you're damn lucky to be alive, kiddo. You could be floating out there forever.
I'm trying to remember if they
Always
improved.
How to get a cat to hiss on command like that.
It's probably pretty easy.
Probably just put another cat in front of it.
Yeah.
No, you just bring out the asshole cat.
Or a cucumber.
Some cats are just assholes, you know?
Yeah, bring out a cucumber. Cats hate cucumbers.
They really do a great job, like right off the bat, of reminding you this is what you're in for.
She's about to give birth.
That's not birth.
It's technically birth.
hatched.
She's its mother.
My mother.
That was obviously a classic. Her head was, through a hole in the bed, and she's kind of on her knees underneath that bed, and they have a dummy in front of her where they could just, one of the stunt guys or whatever, just kind of pushed his fist through that to make it look like it was coming out.
Yeah, that screenshot there is in a lot of memes, so if you want to check those out, just look on the internet. I heard it has memes.
There's this little thing called the internet.
I heard it has these memes on there.
Yeah, just type in man fisting and you'll it'll come right up.
It'll come right up.
God.
It'll take you right to that meme.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah, you'll just learn
Just
about
go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and type it in.
Just learn about stunt special effects.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Just remember, kids.
Hopefully kids don't watch our show. Listen to our show.
This right here.
This is an added scene.
Okay, so they turned she turned it off,
this is one of those added.
What the fuck other purpose
edition.
does that screen have with all these fucking trees around it?
It's just because they're out in space. It's just to be able to hear the sound of trees and birds.
But this you turn it off, and then I'm pretty sure there's people in that office that like to go there for their lunch break. It's like, who the fuck keeps turning off the trees? Is
who keeps turning off the trees?
It's a bunch of ficuses in a room.
Yeah. It's probably just it's like a therapy room.
Well, no, just the fact that they have those trees in there to match that backdrop means that they have no other backdrops. There's
probably another room. There's probably another room that's got sand and it's the ocean. It's like a therapy thing. She's been in hyperspace for 57 years. It's most likely therapy. She hasn't been on Earth in who knows how fucking long. See, this is completely cut out of the original theatrical version of this film.
This wasn't in the original?
This whole scene where you find out she had a daughter.
Oh, right.
That died.
Right.
Which makes her connection with Newt for the rest of the film, it makes it so much more stronger when you realize, okay, she lost a daughter who was pretty much the same age when she left. And that's a photo of her deceased 66-year-old daughter.
50-something years, you said?
57.
57, yeah.
That's got to be a mind fuck to
What's that whole thing from
Yeah, exactly. You come back and your kid's older than you are.
Also, you age at different rates depending on where you are in.
Yeah, that was
relative to each other.
That's why they think that drones will be hell.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, theoretically, you can make, if all you're interested in is data collection, you can make very tiny drones and send them out so they wouldn't have a very high fuel demand and just send them all over the cosmos.
You've been here for 3.5 hours.
It's a lot easier than putting meat bags in.
That's gotta suck. You wake up after 57 years and you just went through all this shit, and you find out your daughter is older than you and dead.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, so we got to do a debrief of...
we're going to put you on trial for why you blew up the ship.
It's not even really trial. It's like a meeting.
Well, they're holding her accountable for blowing up the Nostromo.
And all these people were born after while she was asleep.
Well, they do a good job in this whole series of films of making the company kind of the big bad.
Never ending. It's always present.
Yeah, it's Wayland Yutani. They're always pulling the strings.
I told you.
You know what's funny is
50 years later,
when I watched this, when I was younger, I used to think of Wayland Yutani as Space Walmart, and now I know the truth. It's Space Amazon.
Yeah.
Centimeter by centimeter, found no physical evidence.
Remember when we thought Walmart was the
Time
biggest
Warner
thing?
meets Disney.
Yeah.
Goddamn airlock.
But there's no evidence of it. So her story sounds crazy.
Well, all they know is that they... But... how many of these people at this board meeting actually know that...
Did IQs just...
And I don't want to give anything... I mean, obviously, if you've seen this movie...
There's probably at least one or two of them, if not three or four.
One.
Yeah, we know at least one of them.
That's the ongoing thing about the Alien series, even in the Prometheus and all that stuff, is corruption, kind of.
Yeah.
Hidden agendas.
The themes kind of took a turn at Prometheus. It was more about hubris and things like that, and
well, it's dealing with
a lot of God stuff.
All the
Well,
where do we come from? Why are we here? Where do we go when we die?
Those movies set the standard, or revealed what the driving thing was behind even these movies, because these guys are just trying to do what their bosses are telling them. And the Prometheus one said what their boss is telling them. You know?
Yeah.
Because if one of those things gets down here, then that will be old. And all this bullshit that you think is so important, you can just kiss all that goodbye.
She's so tall.
Yeah.
Look at her. She's in charge.
When Cameron got this, they really wanted it to continue her story.
Mm-hmm.
The studio did look at like, we don't have to put her in it. We can just do another movie. But
Continue the universe.
His whole story was centered around her. He's like, no, it has to be about her. And she was very skeptical about doing the sequel because she was obviously she was very proud of the first movie and wanted to make sure that if they did it.
That's like her first big role too, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was her breakout role.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about was there any kind of issue with why they went to James Cameron instead of?
Well, Cameron was coming up.
He was hot.
He was coming up fast, and it actually he almost didn't get the job because basically he had only done Piranha 2: The Spawning, which was Roger Corman, really shitty fucking movie. But he
did Terminator before this.
Yeah, he did Terminator, and
then he did.
They were coming at him at the same time because he was working on Terminator. And when that came out, he basically had to go straight into making this. Like, the movie hadn't even come out yet, and they're like, we want you. And mainly it was because Sigourney Weaver read his script and was like, this guy gets it. Like, she's like, I'll do it if this guy directs it. So they were like, okay, we have to have him.
60, maybe 70 families.
Oh, what's that, James Cameron?
So she just found out that they've been colonizing LV-426, the planet they landed on in the first film, and she's like, fuck. He just said there's families out there.
So I think we mentioned it in...
This is a whole new scene that was not in the original either, right here.
Yeah.
This whole sequence, yeah.
What, with the family?
Yeah.
Really?
Where we meet Newt and find out what happened to her parents.
Dude, this is a really good special edition.
Yeah.
Like, this is almost like a good director's cut.
The stuff that they added into this was like not just like little couple seconds here and there. It's like full scenes.
And they look the same, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like unfinished.
But this, what I was going to say is, this is, out of the 3 movies we're doing for this series, 2 of them are directed by James Cameron.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. Kind of interesting thing. As much as, James Cameron kind of made way for Michael Bay in a way.
Oh, yeah.
He's just one of those really eccentric, big, dramatic filmmakers.
Yeah, Michael Bay wishes he was James Cameron.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't do that.
No, what didn't they do a South Park thing with James Cameron or with Michael Bay where it's like, and then we're gonna have this go, and
yeah.
Anybody need a beer?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I like how the movie is like really contrasted at the end by the beginning, because the beginning really like starts off slow. It's kind of a slow burn, It's a quiet, slow thing.
Yeah, well, with this special edition, because you realize most of the scenes that got cut out were these things here at the beginning, because the movie studio was like,
they're like,
no,
hey, let's get to the killing.
Get rid of this bullshit and get on with the action.
Yeah,
we want to see the alien. So yeah, that's why most of this stuff got cut out.
Yeah.
It's kind of surprising because we've had this movie. I got a copy of it for a while, and I was gone. We didn't do any recordings, and it's taken us a while to get to it, but I watched it a couple of times, like back when we were gonna do it, just to catch up. And like, I hadn't really seen it in a long time, so like I really like these scenes, and I can't believe that they weren't included.
Yeah,
like even this, like the big
all of this right here.
Shit,
all of this.
Everything has the logo on it.
Yeah,
literally everything. That kid's big wheel.
Well, Weyland Yutani, that's like the Tyrell Corporation from Blade Runner. That's
the world of aliens. It's they don't really. It's weird that it's like everything is corporate, but there's not, and there is kind of like a message in it about corporations, but it's just more of like an acceptance.
Well, it's like Weyland Yutani makes everything from the straws down to these things.
They make everything.
So this is in our introduction to Carrie Henn, who I met at that Conclusion. I'll pick out. Yeah, I got the
mostly.
She signed it mostly. The photo I have is a shot of her and Ripley standing together later on. I got Sigourney Weaver We were
Do
talking
they
about.
do cons together?
Well, this one, it was the first one I ever went to. It was Comicpalooza in Houston because they were doing, it was the 30th anniversary of the film, or the 25th anniversary of Aliens. So I got to meet Lance Henriksen, Bill Paxton,
Oh yeah.
Sigourney Weaver, Paul Reiser, William Hope, who's the guy that...
Did you say that Paul Reiser was kind of a dick?
He was an asshole, yeah.
Well, that's the thing is like Paul Reiser's done a lot of other things, but like this is what he's done
It was
for,
just
so he's probably kind of jaded.
this girl was in line and she had like the comic book novelization or whatever you want to call it, like a 6-part, and she had them in pristine order and everything. Like she was getting them all signed,
and he was finger fucking them.
Yeah, he pulled it out of the bag and just started like crumpling the pages, like flipping through it.
No, just kind of like
just
doing
like,
this.
and he goes, "I'm not even in this issue," and like tossed it back at her, and she was like, I almost wanted to be like, "You
Hey,
fucking
motherfucker."
asshole."
Yeah.
Like, she took time and paid money to stand in line to meet you.
Yeah.
And you just, like, made her feel like such a jerk.
That's an ego trip right there, dude.
Yeah, you could just tell he didn't want to be there.
I mean, just to even say that, like, I'm not even in this issue. Well, you're not in any issue because it's your character. It's not even you. I don't know. That's a weird ego thing right there, I'll tell you.
Yeah, he was probably mad because way more people were in line for Bill Paxton than him, so he was getting all butthurt.
But, like, I really wonder, like, I'd really love to talk to somebody who has, like, gone through that circuit. Because it's got to be a pretty alien, no pun intended, thing to like sit there and just have like a line of people come.
Well,
and,
some
like,
celebrities are kind of scared to meet their fans sometimes, and and in these things you do see some kind of weirdos, you know,
like some neckbeards.
Like, well, dudes, like I remember when I was standing in line for Sigourney. Like
anybody.
Some of the people that were like in line in front of me, like had these homemade things that they made, like of like a bust of her head that they like
collages and shit.
Yeah, like drawings, and could be very like, oh wow, you really like. But then you get like these weird, like sweaty, like weird old dudes that like look. This is your.
You're the first person I ever came to.
Yeah, like I make out with this head I made. Like, will you sign it? Like, there you could get some weirdo stalker guys, but they make so much fucking money doing those things,
and they don't pay tax on
it.
That's
the thing. That was the big news story. Like a year or two ago,
they get paid like cash at the end of the day.
But a year or two ago, they started cracking down on it because they'd walk out of there with like. I don't see how this was cut out of the movie. Like this is. Like
I guess it just went on too long.
Considering special editions where they have parts that like move the plot forward, but like you can see they didn't really do it well or like whatever. But like that's quality.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine this movie without it.
I guess
it's
they
for
just
pacing.
Yeah, it was pacing reasons. It just they felt the movie. They felt the movie was starting off too slow, so they had to cut it.
It started off with a chest burster.
It didn't further the plot any. But what I was saying about Carrie Henn, the little girl that plays Newt. She was plucked right off of an Air Force base. They were filming in, of course, the very famous Pinewood Studios in England. The 007 studio, as they call it.
Is that where they did Harry Potter?
When we had Randy on too, it's like the hugest like sound thing.
Did they do that in Harry Potter?
Probably.
They
use it in Star Wars.
I did the Harry Potter experience.
Yeah.
I was in.
Oh yeah. They did Star Wars. Yeah. All the James Bond, but they went and found her. He specifically said he wanted somebody that had not acted before,
right?
Because they didn't want some little girl to come in and like smile that her mom taught her, like the pageant, and do all this stuff. They just wanted a real girl.
She never did any other movies after this.
Never did anything else after this. She had just
good for her.
She had no interest in doing it.
Probably saved her goddamn life.
To this day,
what are you talking about? Child actors turn out very well
over the last 10 or 15 years. She is actually a second grade teacher now.
Oh, cool.
She teaches second grade.
Macaulay Culkin turned out great.
I'm not a soldier.
Corey.
He's finally getting better.
No, Corey's turned out great.
All the Coreys, they turned out fantastic. Elijah Wood turned out awesome.
Elijah Wood turned out okay.
Yeah, but he probably went.
He's probably got
the therapy.
Sean Astin turned out okay.
Yeah.
Why are you going?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I saw a meme today about Sean Astin that said,
"It's Sean Astin from Stranger Things."
Well, it's that guy, and then somebody, and there was like the thing where it's comments below, and it's like, "No, fuck you, that's Samwise from that," and then somebody was like, "Fuck you, that's Goonies." Like,
At the next convention I'm going to, Fandemic in October in Houston, he's going to be there.
Oh, that's dope.
I'm excited to meet Samwise.
You should get him. You should get him to sign
Rudy.
print. No, I was going to say, he must sign a print from 50 First Dates where he was like wearing the fishnets the whole time.
Dude,
Yeah.
he's done really well, dude. Like, because he captured the nerd market, but he captured like whoever's affected by Goonies, which is most everyone over the age of 35.
Yeah.
But then he also affected fucking D&D nerds with Lord of the Rings, and now he has the new nerds with Stranger Things. And then he also tapped into the sports market with Rudy. How many fucking pee-wee football players their lives were changed by the movie Rudy?
Yeah.
I've read it. You wake up every night, your sheets are soaking with
The music is inspiring.
And I mean
Well, we don't know because we don't like sports.
She was actually nominated for an Oscar for this movie.
Really?
Too. Yeah. A lot of people don't know she was the first female
For a
in
science fiction action movie?
sci-fi action category. Well, not category, but for a film.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got a nomination.
Well, it won a lot of Saturn Awards.
Yeah, she didn't win it. She didn't
the
win
Saturn Awards are a British Oscar.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
basically-
yeah.
Yeah,
She didn't win,
she
but
got
she-
Best Actress for the Saturn Awards.
Yeah, she
And
got
Paxton
nominated
got
for-
Best Supporting too, which
Oh,
is
did he?
weird because he didn't really do that much.
Well,
he
he's
did.
the standout character in this movie. Really.
Yeah, but
as far as
the
you know,
Marines go,
yeah, he makes the biggest impact. I always thought Michael Biehn was so awesome, though. That's why I have a love-hate relationship with Alien 3 because of what they did with his character. And he was so pissed. He thought he had, like, multiple movies coming, and they were like, nah.
Nah. Everyone on that planet's going to die.
That's what happens, you know, when you hand a movie over to a different director. You're not guaranteed to be in the sequel, you know?
Right.
Different director might want to go a different direction.
They might want to get a whole new Spider-Man.
I was just about to say that.
Man, what I'm not happy about is that we're gonna have to fucking watch Uncle Ben die for like a fourth fucking
that's
time. or
most of
whatever.
the memes are the Sony to Uncle Ben with a coffin open. Get back in.
Yeah,
Get back in.
we're doing it again.
Damn.
I just want to know. I want to know exactly
how
why
he-
they did that.
He answers it.
Like
He
he
looks
just got
back
done
o-
fucking, yeah.
like he's like, I hope you can't see that horror in the bed behind
Yeah.
me.
But to wipe them out.
That's the plan. You have my word on it.
Dang. She thinks it's going to be like therapeutic for her to go and
Yeah,
bust these things
these
up.
things that
Well, she has
ruin-
nothing left to live for. Her kid is dead.
Well,
Like,
she
that's
has-
all
Well,
she
well,
has.
she wants to get.
She
It's
has
almost
the company to live for.
It's almost revenge,
And also
Yeah.
to like show that she's not fucking crazy.
Well, it's like what's it called? Aversion therapy or whatever. Or
Immersion. Yeah, immersion therapy,
Immersion therapy. Yeah. If you're scared of snakes, go
Yeah, immerse
fucking
yourself,
handle
yeah.
some snakes. You know?
Okay, so-
if you're
so
scared
her-
of heights, go parachute. You know?
So for Best Actress of that year, she lost to Marlee Matlin for Children of a Lesser God, but she was going up against Jane Fonda, Sissy Spacek, and Kathleen Turner.
oh
Damn,
wow,
it's a pretty good lineup.
tough category.
You can't beat Marlee Matlin. She's handicapped.
This is the only movie in
They have
that
to
that
get
I've
it to
heard
her.
about.
Guarantee.
Yeah.
Best
Some,
picture that year was Platoon.
Some of this, that's a good movie. Some of this right here, introduction to the interior of the ship, is added as well. But this is basically the same shot from the first movie, where while they were still all kind of slowly waking up from
These drink
hypersleep,
dispensers?
the camera was just panning slowly down all the different little narrow hallways and
Yeah.
stuff, which was really good to kind of get you familiarized with the ship and the layout and just how big it is inside. And,
Oh, I wonder what that thing's going to be used for.
yeah,
It's just a
man,
fork-
that
it's
was
a
such an
forklift.
ingenious like.
It's a forklift, bro.
Yeah, it's basically just a forklift, but just the fact that he came up with that and they were able to get the power loader to work
Yeah.
and look not like
Well,
because you got to understand. We'll wait till we get to that scene.
that scene where she does that like ugh,
Get away from her, you bitch!
No. That but like the scene where she like
Oh, she
like-
gets in it and they're like, "Oh, damn, she knows what she's
well,
doing."
I'm licensed to do
Yeah.
this, and then like that's like
She's
I know
like,
I know
yeah.
those scenes are usually kind of lame, but like every time that scene happens, I'm like, yeah, fuck
Yeah, it's good.
Fuck yeah.
It's she. Now
'cause you
this
like
is obviously
forklift
there's
memes.
a mirror in that back wall. There's about 4 of those hypersleep things right there. Those first in the foreground, and then it was just very cheap effect. All they did was just put a giant mirror.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
so
okay.
there's see what I'm saying?
So-
if you can almost notice the 4 in the front are real.
Yeah.
A mirror wall
Okay, so-
to make it look like
That makes
there's
sense.
30 of them.
As a science fiction nerd,
Genius and cheap.
I give like I always hound on like plot devices, plot armor, and all that stuff. Like, I always hound on like bullshit things that they do in movies to do things, but like out of like any trope in science fiction, the one that I love the most is those fucking capsules. Those capsules have been used to do so many damn things in science fiction.
Yeah,
movies.
oh yeah.
So many different things from
the
like
suspended animations.
suspended animation, from how long you can be in there, toward dying in them, burning alive in them, all that stuff that happens with those fucking capsules.
Yeah.
I love them. I love them. I really do. It's like some of them have liquid in them. Some of them leave you feeling
it
like
makes you,
shit.
like Event Horizon,
Oh,
they
you mean
were
like the
they were
back-to-tank?
vertical.
Sure,
But they're
vertical.
they were full of
Are
liquid.
they like a morgue? Are they
But
like
it's-
leaned?
yeah.
Like how they look? Like I just love because they those capsules start 75% of every space science fiction movie. Like they really
Yeah.
do. Like they're in there.
It's just don't fix something that's not broken. You know, it's perfect. So they use it again because you can't really make it better. Lance Anderson.
They're the Marines. The other thing about science fiction future movies is co-ed everything.
Yeah.
You mean like in Starship Troopers?
Yeah, with the boobies, they all shower together.
Yeah.
We need to do that movie.
And there's our introduction to
Soon.
Vasquez, who I was just always, she was one of the standouts to me, like just.
She's supposed to be some kind of consultant.
And she, of course, was in Terminator 2. She played John.
That's right.
John
Did
Connor's.
we find that out? Like, you thought it was somebody else, right?
No, I've known this for years.
No, I thought you thought
Look
she
at-
thought it was some different actress. We figured.
No.
Look at her,
Because
she's-
she was in Titanic, too. She was this. She
Yeah.
was the foster mom in Terminator 2. She was Vasquez in this. She was in He puts her in, like, all of his movies.
Oh, and she got a Saturn Award for it. Ding.
She was doing much harder pull-ups
yeah,
than the
she
other
was doing
guy.
the
Yeah.
hard fucking way.
She was doing the really hard, wide grip,
Yeah.
overhand
Do you
grip.
think
he was like close, underhand, neutral grip?
It was, yeah, that's like the easiest way.
Yeah.
Where's Ridley Scott from? Is he
He's
British?
He's English. Yeah.
Do you think he was pissed that James Cameron swept the Saturn Awards with Aliens?
Nah.
He was approached
He's probably
first
proud.
to do the sequel, and he said he didn't want to do it. He had no interest in doing a sequel. I always love that line. It's good for you, boy. Eat it.
Yeah, the one that you had was male.
Now, Bishop.
This is a
I
cool
just called
scene.
him Bishop. Lance Henriksen really learned how to do this.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, they
sped
sped
up,
that shit
but-
up, though.
Well, no, well, yeah, but he
That's a real hand. I mean,
he came in with all these different things. Like, he really tried to get method with the character. Like, they said he came in one day and he had these really weird contacts in that looked like he had two pupils. And he's like, what do you think about if I did this, Jim? You know, and they were like, no, you look a little too creepy. So he was trying to come up with ways to make himself unique.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, what about this? He's like, I used to do this like in bars and shit, like, you know, as a trick. And they put that whole scene in there right there just because Lance Henriksen was like, hey, what if my character did this? And
It's
they were
precise.
like, they were like, yeah,
Precision,
it's to show that
Yeah.
his hand-eye coordination is a lot quicker than humans.
yeah.
So that we find out, you know, we
And,
know right off the bat that he's an android.
In Alien, did we know it was an android until the end, or we didn't know until the end?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
We didn't know that there was such a thing as androids.
Yeah.
Until
Anything about an android being on board? Why not?
So now it's like
It never
it's known.
occurred to me. It's just common practice. We always have a synthetic on board.
I prefer the term artificial person myself.
but Ash was the bad guy in the first one.
Yeah, yeah.
The android in the first one was the one that knew.
Yeah.
He was
I
already.
forgot if it was it wasn't until the end that you were like, oh
Yeah,
shit,
yeah. Because when they're like beating him to death, and it starts,
blue or
he's like,
white
"Motherfucker
or-
was a goddamn android the whole time."
Yeah.
Yeah, they're shocked by it.
The Hyperdyne systems. Did y'all see that?
Model 101.
It could never happen now with our behavioral inhibitors. It is impossible for me to harm or by a mission of action allow to be harmed a human being. You sure you don't want some?
Just stay away from me, Bishop. You got that?
I like the way that's worded, though.
Yeah.
It's impossible for me to harm or by omission of action allowed to be harmed.
yeah.
Which means
Don't
I
freak
can't
out.
harm you, but I can't even stand by and, you know, and allow you to be harmed. So it'd be a little cool bodyguard.
It would
be very much like a fucking alien bouncer.
like an alien bouncer.
Like, we're gonna go to LV-426. We're gonna bounce some aliens, yo.
Hey, I heard you got a little infestation problem in one of your colonies.
I heard
Hey,
you're
I'm Alex Alien.
I heard you're very much an infestation of xenomorphs. We're gonna bounce those aliens, bro.
Damn.
We're gonna get over there and tell those aliens they gotta get on.
I wish our inside
These
jokes.
aliens ain't never been to Brooklyn.
I wish our inside jokes ever stood a chance of being understood.
That's the best part about it. Is we're not gonna explain it. So people they're gonna pretend that they know what we're talking about, so they feel included.
Xenomorphs. They seem like lonely creatures. Do you think they have a mother?
They have a mother. We're gonna find out in this one.
Damn.
I feel more attuned to the xenomorphs if they had a mother.
If they love the mother like I do.
Spoiler: they do have a mother.
Yeah, we gotta meet that bitch.
It's freaking Kyle Reese, bro.
Yeah.
We tried to get it off. It wouldn't come off. Later, it
Kyle Reese, man, he kills freaking robots and aliens. He don't give a damn.
Well, that's like the thing. Bill Paxton is the only actor to be killed by a Terminator, an alien, and the Predator.
Yeah.
Look, man, I only need to know one thing. Where they
I love this line.
anytime, anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody said alien. She thought they said illegal alien and signed
Man, racism it really carries
racism
on through
in
the
space.
years.
Dude.
Yeah.
Through
It's
the
like
years.
we're going to different planets and shit, and you're still worried about the borders.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Fucking don't tell me Hudson voted for Trump.
Yeah, okay, right. Thank you, Ripley.
86.
Oh God! Like, what years it take place?
Set in.
Oh,
way 100 years in the future.
2177 or something.
2122.
2122.
So we're still gonna have problems.
They're still not over it yet.
100 years from now.
Well, I mean, it is 2019. It is the most futuristic year there is. So, this
That's
is a good
true
glimpse.
if you listen to our 2019 series.
What is it, Private?
It's a good
Get out of
series.
this chicken shit outfit.
You secure that.
No, you're right. He deserved best supporting because he's definitely
very animated.
Well, he's
the most outspoken member.
He's
of the
got
whole
all the
crew.
quotable lines. Yeah.
I want this thing to go smooth.
Who's this guy? I don't even remember him. He
This
probably
is the
dies
guy.
pretty
This is
early.
the other guy I met at the Comic Palooza. His name's William Hope. He plays Lieutenant Gorman.
Ordnance loading, weapon strip.
Which, so none of them like him because he's like their new lieutenant. None of them know Gorman.
He's never seen battle. He's just like appointed captain or something.
Yeah. Yeah, his
I like that guy.
What do they say? His ass is still wet. What's that line? Or he still has.
He's a green hand.
Yeah, he's green still. Yeah, basically. So when they started filming this movie, all of the Sigourney Weaver was filming a movie like in Paris, I think, at the time. So they cast all the Marines, and this was really cool. And this was kind of like, I guess, serendipitous. It worked out perfect. They cast all the Marines and everything first. I mean, they had her cast on, but she was working on another movie.
Right.
But so while they were prepping and
this is that scene I was saying,
they were prepping and putting it all together, all these people like basically lived together like in a bunk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like they put all they because they wanted them all to bond.
They wanted them to have
shit like that.
Apparently, they gave them all copies of Starship Troopers. No, I'm serious. Like they did. They gave all the Marines a copy of Starship Troopers and told them to read it.
This guy, Apone, Sergeant Apone, he was actually in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So he was kind of like their leader, and it worked out perfectly. Like he would get them in shape. He knew how to like field strip a weapon and shit like that. And he knew so they were all allowed. It's very small.
Well,
moments.
he says a phrase in this that's like still said assholes
and elbows.
Assholes and elbows. It's like that wasn't said much until this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, this part.
They also say the line, I think, kick the tires and light the fires.
Yeah.
Same.
But
Yeah,
that's
same
an Air
sense.
Force line. But so they spent a lot of time together, all the Marines, and none of them have even met her yet. And they were allowed, and I think this is really cool. They were given a whole table one day, just all these props and all this weird little shit and stuff to like personalize their armor and their gear. And their gun.
Right.
They encourage them like name your gun. Like here's
that looked really good.
Yeah, that's stop motion too. Stop motion with a cross of practical close-ups. But they were, name your gun, blah, blah. They would draw little things on their armor. And you'll see some of it on their armor and shit where they're wearing it. To really get
like
them,
the guy's hat had all the little
the little bones and stuff on it. Yeah.
Adios.
I'll have to remember Zach, you'll have to look it up because I can't remember it.
That has to be a steady cam,
Yeah,
right?
the guns are on steady cam.
It's a steady
cam rig that they put this weird gun on.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's steady cam.
There's so many funny videos of people like, look, I can just take my hands off of it, it's fine, and it breaks like their $10,000
The
camera.
guy, the little thing on the side of the ship was so they did all this. They all bonded and they were all together, and like they didn't meet Sigourney until like her first day of filming.
So they went into it with the mindset of a separation.
Yeah.
So she was
walks
like,
on.
They were like, I don't trust
she shows up and she walks on set, and they're all like, "Oh my god, there she is! There's Sigourney."
I bet they kept that guy away from him too, right?
They purposely kept him like a separate bunk. Yeah. So it worked out, and it just
because there's no malintent between them as people, but there's that insight they were bonded.
They were like, it's the thing that she painted on her chest. It's in Spanish.
Vaya
we can get it. No, it's its translation to English is. I have to see if I can remember. Just type in like Vasquez's body armor.
Have you ever
or
noticed?
Something.
Have you ever noticed how much the aesthetics in the set on here affected the game Halo?
Yeah.
Like
actually, this guy, the drill sergeant kind of guy, he did a voice for one of the main characters of the Halo series.
Yeah, I mean, it looks exactly the same, pretty much.
I think he's actually passed away. I believe. But yeah, so she came in and they were all like, "Man, we've all been bonding and stuff like that."
Yeah.
But it helped her too because she felt like an outsider.
Right. Yeah, it helped all the performances, that's for sure.
Yeah, and they was just kind of like it just happened.
Roger.
This thing, I can't remember what they modeled their
The low
APC
thing?
tank
Yeah.
on. But that thing actually drove. That was a working. They had miniatures, but then there was actually a working.
It says El riesgo siempre vive. Risk always lives. Luck
There you
favors
go.
the bold.
Yeah, there you go. The risk always lives. Thank you.
Huh.
Glad I wrote.
Miniatures. How about that?
Miniatures.
How about that?
Miniatures.
Affirmative.
You know what's funny is
affirmative.
One thing I always really liked about like Alien and stuff is that, and it's honestly it's like every sci-fi movie from the 80s. It's everyone always designs the futuristic stuff like it's a futuristic look from the 80s. No one really tries to
Why
like.
is she wearing shades? I just realized that. It's the first time
I
I've
don't-
ever
yeah, I don't know.
Why is she wearing sunglasses in space?
I mean, space is a really bright
It looks
place.
cool.
Yeah.
She looks cool. That's probably the only
She looks
reason.
cool, yeah.
It just looks cool.
Yeah, just trying to hide her stuff. But no, I'm saying like no one in the 80s when they were doing that, they really didn't try that hard to really think about the future. Like there's all this MS-DOS terminal computers and everything's chunky, you know.
But that makes it more
Yeah.
real. Like I hate it when people do futuristic movies and everything's all shiny and new looking. And
No,
they're
I like-
wearing
yeah.
shiny suits. I like this.
Yeah, I
'cause
like
this
that
is
it's
a
lived in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lived in
Yeah, I like
universe, and it's not like these shiny metal
Yeah.
helmets that they're wearing. It looks like shit that's not too far in the future.
Yeah.
You know, it still seems like okay. You know, they're not running around with laser guns.
Right.
Like they still wear fucking flannel shirts and stuff. They're not all in like those Logan's Run aluminum,
Yeah, look, it's right.
one size fits all space suits.
Logan's Run, shoot. No, that was one thing too I liked about Starship Troopers a lot is that they still use ballistic weapons instead of lasers. Because lasers are nobody's going to be using lasers unless it's like anti-missile stuff like that. But
Yeah.
guns are always going to be ballistic. It's just
Yeah, ground to air,
Yeah.
shooting down stuff. I always love that line she has too. We're in the pipe, 5 by 5. They do, and movies like this work really well, where they give you each of them, and it worked because like they got to personalize their stuff and
Yeah.
everything. Like you can see like they're not all like, oh well, I can't tell who's who because they all are in the same fucking outfit. They're each like individually like Vasquez. Okay, that's the badass, Vato girl. There's Hicks, who is like the badass, Michael Bean.
Yeah.
There's the Drake. It's like the guy with the big long Steadicam gun. Hudson, obviously, the loud mouth.
Yeah.
This is a little extra scene too. When he
check it out.
He talks about all the weapons stuff they have.
Hey, Ripley, don't worry. Me and my squad of ultimate badasses will protect you. Check it out.
He said like check it out like
a bunch
4 times.
Beam phalanx. What? Probably half a city with this puppy.
Particle beam phalanx, whatever that means.
I want to know what these Marines have been doing if they haven't been fighting aliens.
Well, that's why like this is kind of like their hubris right now. He's like, oh fuck it, we're gonna fuck everything up. We're badasses, but they have never dealt with this enemy before.
Yeah.
Well, there's no aliens in this universe at this point.
Nobody except for Ripley.
As a whole.
Yeah.
As a whole, there's no aliens.
Except for the.
These are the first aliens
come across.
that humanity has come across in this timeline. Good try. It was a good try.
Yeah, it's.
Terminal guidance locked in.
I love how they can just say stuff like coming in on a 709er and the audience is like, well, I can't say that's bullshit. It sounds like jargon.
Solid jargon.
Solid jargon, Cameron.
Remarkable piece of machinery.
Of course, this is all miniatures and matte paintings, and it works. It works so well when you're looking at it like through another video screen.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like we were saying, like the technology in the future, it's almost like still VHS.
Quality.
Like fix the tracking on your fucking computer screen there, dude. Can you fix the tracking?
Did you spring for the forehead? Because this is not looking great.
You got the VHS head cleaner.
A slow circle of the complex.
Well, we were talking about watching the trailer. It's like the trailer's square.
Yeah,
and then we're looking at the special edition on VHS. It's like
it'd be pan and scan.
And it's like those were the days when obviously you need to see it in theaters.
Well, I remember everything when it got to VHS, it went from 16:9 to 4:3, 4:8 or something.
4:3,
4:3 aspect
4:3
ratio.
is standard
because they couldn't. They didn't have room.
And then there was that period where they were doing movies where they were widescreen, but everybody would bitch.
Even when it's on VHS, they started and charging $20 more for it.
And then it didn't even say it didn't even say widescreen edition. It said letterbox.
Letterbox,
letterbox edition.
And you get those black bars. It wasn't until they actually had 16:9 TVs.
Letterbox,
that you get the director's intended, picture.
Well, it's kind of strange. This copy's full frame. I don't know.
Are you sure?
No, it's not 4:3. It's
full frame 16:9.
Yeah, there you go.
Usually there's a little bit of a letterbox to it.
I was gonna say because it doesn't look stretched or anything.
Watch the rear.
Take point.
Most of them just adjust to your screen. Some that looks a little stretched out.
Move up.
Just hit fit to screen. There you go.
Nope.
These
Hudson, run a bypass.
a lot of this. Actually, I think all of this stuff right here, where they're just kind of going in and this was all like they were like way behind schedule because like we talked about, I think on Blade Runner about how Ridley was getting a lot of shit from the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean James was getting a lot of shit because they were in London and stuff, and he was like he's very famously like a hard ass.
Oh yeah, I bet
he will fucking yell at your ass on set if you're not like one guy. One of the DPs, I think. Yeah, it was the first AD, first assistant director, got fired like halfway through shooting because James came to the set one day and the way he was lighting the set.
He's like, this is all wrong.
Yeah, and the guy
he was just watching him do a bad job.
They got in a pissing match, and the guy was like, "Well, I know what I'm doing. You hired me. I know what I'm doing. This is how I want this shot to be lit." He was like, "No, fuck you.
Yeah,
you're
if you
my
don't see the problem,
director.
if you don't see the problem here, you're fucking out."
because he had it lit like way too bright and stuff, and he.
You obviously don't get what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, he was like, and he went back down, and they fucking fired the dude.
Damn.
Yeah, don't argue. Like,
yeah.
Well, I mean,
argue, but like.
But when you get in like different directors, like I have my style, you have yours, like. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's the director's vision, and if you can't give him what he wants, then you're gone. It's really, I hate to say, it's tough business because you never have a guarantee of getting future work. I mean, even like the actors, the crew, everybody. If you do a bad set, like lighting it, and that director goes, "Fuck this guy,"
making films,
you can't get hired again.
I can say like making films is like gig work. It's the same as what I do.
You have to be a nomad,
and it's like the thing about like even the comparison to the music business is if you're not fun to do, if you're going to a shit show or like it's going to be a weird thing, if you're a pain in the ass, nobody wants to.
Yeah.
Like to do a movie, you got to hang out with these people for 3, 4, 5 months at a time.
Yeah,
you know, like if you're not a joy to be around, or if you're like a pain in the ass,
if you
all
make
the time,
every day difficult.
Yeah, nobody's gonna want to do. I don't care if you have like the golden eyes and you can see color.
Well, yeah, it's like even as the actors, like if they get there and they're like, okay, the set's not the way it's supposed to be, and the actors got to sit around for 4 hours before they even start filming. Yeah, they're gonna be like, who's fucking responsible for this? This is bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
You're wasting my time.
Quarter and search by twos.
There are exceptions.
That's like when I would book. Well, like what you're saying with the music, like when I would book bands at Vortex, we'd start getting bigger and bigger and cooler bands. And I was like, it just takes one band. Like a promoter goes, okay, we're gonna take a chance and send this band to your club. If they come back and tell me you treated them well and they had a good time and they had fun and they got their guarantee, then we'll send you more bands. But if that band goes back and says, don't fucking ever send anybody back to that place ever again, that guy was a prick.
Yeah.
But like directors get to be pricks.
Well, I mean, the give in that is,
Kubrick, obviously,
he wouldn't fly across the
Tarantino. You know, there's a lot of directors who are very
hard
to work
like
with.
James Cameron. I mean, he'll scream and make like Kubrick. Would do it to Shelley Duvall, make her cry. And it's like, well,
he broke so
you
many.
Want to be in a James Cameron movie?
He broke so many labor laws.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was the thing with Cameron. Yeah. The crew, he started getting pissed off because they were filming in London, and they would have tea time.
Yeah,
which is like apparently a thing that they do, where they break, and somebody comes in with a cart of fucking cookies and biscuits and stuff, and they all stop, and all the sound guys and all the stuntmen, and everybody stops, and they go have their little tea time. James Cameron would be sitting there,
like, what the fuck?
Like trying to get a shot. Yeah, like been working on all day on this shot, and these guys will just, with the ring of a bell, stop what they're doing, and it was like mandatory. And he would just get so fucking pissed off, like, no.
Well, I mean, Americans say breakfast, lunch, dinner. You take a lunch break, for sure. You got to have a lunch break. You got to get a sandwich. But, like, tea time takes place between lunch and the other ones.
And he'd be sitting there trying to get something, and everybody would just leave the set. Everybody would drop what they were doing and leave the set.
Well, that's the other thing. Dude, making movies and doing anything like this is, like, super time-consuming. Like, hours go by like that.
Yeah.
You know, whenever you're focused in on something.
Or when it takes an hour to get the lighting right, and actors are just sitting there twiddling
their thumbs. And then you get rolling, and then all of a sudden 15 minutes for tea. You know, it's like, fuck that.
Or and there's some dude standing there in a fucking alien costume, sweating his fucking ass off.
He's been in makeup since 2 in the morning.
And he can't go to the bathroom because he's in this fucking thing, but he's got to sit around so you can have your fucking tea time.
We just finished our sweep.
This was the first movie that, and they've worked on everyone since, Alec Gillis and Tom Woodruff Jr., who we spoke about. They worked on the Thing prequel and ended up, remember we talked about how most of their practical effects got cut out and replaced with CGI.
It was a blend. It was a blend.
They worked
of practical
on
and
Alien
CGI,
3, all the AVP movies. They were taught by Stan Winston.
Yeah.
Pendejo. I know what that word means.
I follow Stan Winston's school on I think the Movie Night Instagram, and it's like you know how like we're all in like these groups that are like dirty memes or whatever like that, but there's these there's some people who like sharing like gore shit,
or like bloody, disgusting.
It's like they share something like just terrible, and it's like you gotta hide it. That's what I do. But like Stan Winston is like I'll be scrolling. and then oh god, why? And then oh, it's prosthetic. Or,
yeah,
oh, it's
and
like
then you look at it and you go, wow, that's
it's like that's a really good piece of work.
Really beautiful, yeah. Yeah, I was a huge fan of Stan Winston. I mean, he was. This is all added right here.
Are you all right?
This is special edition stuff.
You know, the one thing
would be like, if I was her, if nothing else, I would be like, I need some kind of like Hannibal Lecter mask on my face so that the face huggers can't jump on my face and put their fucking penis down my throat.
Their little
What are you
penis.
saying, Aaron?
I was gonna say that the one thing I always wish that they would have left off of the aliens, because the aliens are just a little too OP. Really, is the acid blood? It's just too much. Acid blood is just too much. It's like you add everything together, and then with acid blood,
as
there's
soon
no
as
way
you do anything,
there's
to
no way.
defend yourself,
There's no way
you
anyone
burn.
could ever kill them.
It kind of just that cuts out, like, you can't like physically fight it. You know?
I mean, it's.
I mean,
it's
that
just
game,
it's too
that
much.
game that came out recently, like it's basically most of the game is to hide from the alien, right?
Oh yeah, that game's terrifying.
Yeah,
like you can't fight it; you just got to run away.
Yeah, there's no way to fight.
The only way you can fight is just blowing it up, trapping it.
Oh, you remember the game that came out, the Colonial Marines or whatever?
Yeah, I still own that game.
You do? Okay, so guess what? Some
the
guy
sergeant did the voice
how it
for
was
that
like
too.
so how it was like really buggy and the AI was terrible.
Yeah, it's got a lot of
so
shit.
the AI was terrible. So I mean, it was like the PlayStation 3 era game, and
it was PS3. Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody actually
It was the end of the PS3.
some kid was like combing through the source code of the game and found out why that happened, and it was just one typo. It was like one typo in one line about the alien, the aliens for the AI.
They glitched
and
the
they
whole thing.
fixed it, and it's now you can update it, and it will actually be a good game.
Right, I'm gonna check it out because I still own that game, and Ava still plays it. My daughter,
you need
still plays it every once in a while. She loves it because
you need to figure out how to update it because
she'll do the online where you can be in a xenomorph and you're hunting down the other characters. It's pretty cool.
And they just now find out about it.
It was like 6 months ago or something. It was some individual.
It was
just
very famously because that movie was hyped so big, and
somebody from Australia.
Personally
holy shit!
Hyped for it.
It was on like the cover of every game magazine. And everything. It was like
they hyped it
well, he
so
was
much.
He was one of those guys
so
that he was doing like he was one of those guys that like takes and remakes things.
He's modern.
Comes first little jump scare. That's a little vagina.
This is when we find out that they were experimenting on him, right?
That's like a vagina. That's like if a penis had a vagina on the end of it.
Well, yeah, that's
it's what you would call its tongue. That's what it implants the embryo in you with.
There's a really big thing now in the sex toy community called ovipositors, right?
Probably.
So it's
sure.
It's phallic shaped dildos, right? But then you have to. It's kind of absurd, but you have these egg-shaped Jello molds that you make in the fridge. So you make eggs out of Jello, and then like the woman or whoever, guy or whatever, you fuck yourself with these ovipositor like penises. But then you squeeze the eggs into your The whole thought is like
these little silicone eggs.
They're made of Jello, so if they get stuck, they'll dissolve.
Oh,
but
you just squeeze them up your butt.
Yeah, they're made of Jello. You have to make them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, not that I like did a bunch of research on this or anything.
The ovum fetish.
Yeah, ovipositor, because it's.
We talked about this back in episode 3.
It's like getting
with Caitlin Leidig.
It's like getting pregnant. It's getting pregnant by aliens, and it's like people get off. They're like, and it's a weird gender thing where it's like, well, it's phallic, so it's like but it's depositing eggs in you, so it's female.
Yeah,
just like these face huggers. It's like a both genders.
So you get
in
that
one.
internal stimulation, but with the. Never mind. I'm done.
It's feminist.
Man, I feel like we're getting back to the roots right now. I really do. I feel like we're getting back to our roots.
Impregnate me.
I mean, shoot, whatever. I wouldn't judge you if you wanted to get pregnant by an alien. I don't care.
Well,
as long as they don't burst through your chest, fucking alien bounces.
The only woman that I think that I could marry and that I love is my mother.
That's my mother. It's my mother.
My mother. The love of my life.
Look at them. They jumpy.
Some jumpy ass Marines.
That's some jumpy Marines.
So cocky, so sure of themselves.
That was clearly a child. I love how Hicks just still.
Well, they don't know what it was.
They
don't.
A shotgun. Well, no, that's why he pushed his gun away because he. see the blonde hair. Hold on, motherfucker.
So in the original, like, theatrical version, this is the first time you're seeing this child.
Don't be afraid.
But in the special edition, you get to see. That's crazy. That's so crazy. Like
in the theatrical,
like, I can't even imagine. Like,
Newt.
that's such a valuable scene.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine anybody
it really
cutting
sets
it out.
up. Well, that combined with
Especially, I mean, this movie. This was never like a low budget movie.
that scene combined with the scene of finding out that Ripley lost a daughter.
That too
really strengthens why she is so adamant about protecting this kid.
It completely changes the character.
Yeah, it makes it way stronger.
Like without those two scenes, this isn't that great of a movie.
No, don't.
I mean,
say
it's still
that.
a good movie, but I mean, and it's still an alien. movie,
all it does is makes this storyline with her and Newt better.
I can't.
It makes you understand more why she would jump down that thing and do that.
No, it's this is okay. So I've come up with an argument for this episode. Is I don't think considering like like if I took this movie and I put it in the theatrical version, and maybe I need to watch it to check it, I don't think it's a better movie. You're gonna have to prove me wrong. We have a ways to go, but you'll have to prove me wrong. But without those scenes, with those scenes, this is a better sequel.
It makes it a better movie.
The sequel is better.
Yeah.
The sequel is better with the special edition scenes.
Well, that's the way it
But
usually is.
theatrically?
I mean, name
the other movies we've done are special edition that fixed it. We did watch the special edition of Terminator 2.
Name a movie. Name a movie where the director's cut is
Batman
not
vs. Superman,
is not
but I'm
better.
just-
That's what I'm saying. Name one where the director's cut is not
that's-
better.
I can't name them because I don't know all of them.
That's my point, though. Like
they're not always better.
Well-
They're just more satisfying to a fan.
What I'll say is that the special edition scenes that I've pointed out so far, when I point out the other ones, those were really like the only two major like that's
a major
that
scene.
made the plot better.
That's a major
The
scene.
other stuff added in is just kind of like, oh, that's cool, but it doesn't help the plot or anything.
Yeah, like that.
And so those were the two main things, and it's strictly to deal with her character.
I'm not wrong.
But I
though.
can understand.
I'm not wrong.
Well,
Like,
I can understand why
you
they
get
cut him
what I'm
out.
saying, right?
It was pacing reasons.
I mean, I get it, but like those make this like the special edition of Aliens makes it a better movie.
Wait, so I never asked you, but you did tell me you did it. So did you end up liking BVS with the director cut?
Oh, that was awesome.
Okay, cool.
Honestly, even it wasn't a director's cut scene. The scene that made me fall in love with that movie was what was it? What was this? The scene where he busts his car and he stands up and then he's going away and he's like, "Tell me,
bleed."
No, hold on. Tell me.
It's a little hot chocolate.
And with that fucking voice changer.
Yeah, do you bleed?
God,
you will.
Damn it! I don't care. Like that was if I would watch that movie whenever it came out,
I watched it in the theaters. I was so hyped.
Dude, that was the coolest fucking scene I've ever seen in a comic book movie.
I mean, I told you about
Hands
the
down.
conspiracy. I told you about the conspiracy of it too, right? The reason why it got just fucking ragged on.
Why?
So
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, well, Rotten Tomatoes just ragged on it because Rotten Tomatoes is owned by a parent company.
Rotten Tomatoes just
owned-
100'd the game night movie.
Well, this is what I'm saying is Rotten Tomatoes is owned by a company, or they're owned by a parent
Yes.
company who's owned by Sony. They're owned by Sony, and before when BVS came out, Sony was in talks with Marvel about having Spider-Man be in Civil War.
Let's
and
quickly get back to.
And so like they were doing their thing,
Yeah.
and then no wonder they wanted they.
Sony's been haters.
I don't know.
Sony is haters.
I don't know, man. They've been jacking up all the Warner Brothers movies, and I can't
All right.
stand it.
All right, back to the movie.
So far, Zippo.
Are you leaving too?
No, I'm not leaving.
Oh,
But you're one brave kid, Rebecca.
Newt.
Nate. Did we find out why she's named Newt?
I don't think so. Just a
That's
little.
her nickname that her parents gave her. They probably called her that in the cut scene that they never put.
Yeah,
Seriously, dude. Like, how did they cut that out?
for time. You got to remember, dude. In the
This is
you
this is a
got to
2.5 hour
remember.
movie.
You got to remember in the '80s, whenever like they never thought that audiences could stand for that shit. Like people in the '80s, it wasn't even like the filmmakers; it was the studios. they had no faith that people could sit in a chair for more than 2 hours.
Well, it's that
they were like, "Nah, cut it. It's got to be 2 hours. It can't be any longer than that."
One of the big industry legends of like Queen and Bohemian Rhapsody, and the movie touches on it, is nobody's gonna. They had standards of 3 minutes. You couldn't play a 6-minute song.
Right.
The attention was what everybody was.
They're like, nobody's going to want to sit down and watch a 2 hour and 30-minute movie. Every movie is 2 hours. Yeah. So they were sticklers about that. They were sticklers about that like pretty much all the way until Lord of the Rings. Like when Lord of the Rings came out and did that, people were like, oh, wait, people will sit in a chair for 3 hours?
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back even further, that's why they had intermissions in movies. They just didn't think, like people are going to want to get up, they're going to want to go pee-pee, they're going to want to get more snacks.
See, movie links over time.
How would you have liked to have dissected a facehugger in school instead of a frog?
I don't know. The smell would be the same, most likely.
And what's up?
It's the smell.
How come the facehuggers don't have acid blood? What's up with that?
No, that makes sense. I mean, as long as you just consider like things evolve and things change, it's obviously
in the juvenile.
The only point of that part of their evolution, they don't want to injure their hosts.
Does our blood change from infant stage to adult? No,
they're aliens. We can't say that.
I know. I'm just saying.
But that's the thing is like as they've been presented, you can. There are similarities that you can. There's points that you can say biologically that we can say from what we know about us, but because they've been presented as this and they are aliens, then obviously their evolutionary pattern, they don't have acid blood right there. Unless there's a scene where you cut their tail off and it burns you. I think that might have happened in one of them. Where they're trying to get it off of somebody and they cut the tail
maybe
off.
So.
Does it burn?
Yeah.
Does the blood,
I don't know,
blood
maybe
burn?
So. I just don't like the acid blood. I'm sorry. It's my only thing, too.
No, they probably do have acid blood. Because whenever they're like doing the face hugging thing, like, does your dick bleed?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't.
I just
don't
that's
like
the reference.
I just don't like
that's the
acid
reference.
blood.
It's rape. Like the facehuggers are rapists.
For sure. Yeah, no.
So it's like maybe they probably do have acid.
Yeah, these are rape monsters. Yeah,
I think they do have acid blood.
I don't know. Just like it's silly. Or it just shouldn't be that powerful. Like melting through steel floors is just too powerful. Like how would the body even contain it? How would the body contain an acid that strong?
But there's a couple of scenes in some of the movies. We're talking about acid blood, Tim.
I figured.
But we're talking about like the power of it. Like I recall a scene in one of the movies where they say it's burning, it's getting to like a spot they don't
like
want
level
it to be.
3 or whatever.
Well, no,
like
they're
tracking
it was the first movie, and it was going deck by deck.
Yeah,
and they're like,
down
if it
3.
gets to the outer hole, we're fucked.
Yeah, but they I don't think they ever like that ever followed through. So like, what is the does it just keep going or
no?
Well, because it eventually slowed down. The more it burns through, the weaker it gets.
Well, acid neutralizes. I mean, that's what it does. Yeah.
No, so they do have acid blood. So I was asking him like, there's a scene where they try to cut it off and it burns.
In the first movie, they try to remove the facehugger from Kane.
Yeah.
And they try to, with a little laser scalpel tool, they try to cut the tail, and that's what makes it squirt out, and it starts burning through the decks. Now this is
And proceed on a 216.
one of the standout scenes, and obviously the set design here is just fucking incredible. Nowadays, this would all be green screened,
Yeah.
That's real, right? It looks organic. That's the whole thing. Is it all looks organic?
It's a hive. Yeah. It's their secretions. They're forming. I mean, it's hive.
Like a honeycomb.
Yeah, it's like bees, ants, wasps, and they're about to.
Kind of does look like a paper wasp nest.
Yeah. And they work when you factor in the queen and all that. I mean, they work. They're very insect-like. Their only purpose is to propagate the species and
they probably
protect their queen.
They probably use social animals like ants and bees.
Because they can kind of almost like that telepathic speaking to each other when they rub their antennas together or whatever.
There's a hive mind. It's what was that movie that came out before Ready Player One? It was like kind of a science fiction movie, kind of
Ender's Game.
Ender's Game. Like the main point. I don't know if they touched on it in the film, but the thing about Ender's Game, like the big twist, spoiler alert, is they're like fighting this incoming thing, but what they realize is that that they're all connected, and it's like they're just trying to protect themselves, like all
it's
that.
the same thing with Starship Troopers when they find the brain bug.
Yeah.
Exactly. To tell me that there's a bug that's smart is offensive.
So,
hey, is there some bugs in here? We ready to bounce some bugs?
Yeah, we're gonna totally bounce these aliens.
But
out
aliens
of
are
this.
definitely like they're set up in a hive structure. Yeah, queen.
Well, yeah, it's the
drones.
queen. Yeah, there's the drones.
There's a mammal that does that.
There's the warriors.
There's the hairless. It's a hairless mole or some kind of rat or something, and they have a hive. They have a queen, and they're mammals, and it's kind of weird.
That is pretty crazy. So they had to give Ripley the line. She had to be the
whole station is basically a big fusion reactor.
She's like, hey, if they fire their weapons down there,
yeah, we're gonna explode.
Yeah.
You just said it's a fusion. It's a nuclear bomb.
So this is the trope, very famous movie trope, the ticking clock.
Yeah.
When they start firing in there and they set off that reactor.
And there's no way that thing that they got to avoid because it might kill them might become like the last resort at any point, right?
Well, because they're saying the whole place will just exactly.
Like they're not gonna. Oh wait, we've been trying to avoid blowing it up. Maybe we should blow it up.
So they're saying just only flamethrowers, nothing explosive or concussive.
See, and this is what's stupid. He doesn't even explain himself. You know what I mean? Because if I had this unit and I was saying this, I'd be like, look, y'all are in the reactor. If one of these things pierce it, we're all gonna die. But he doesn't even do that. He's just like, hey, tell these guys that already don't trust me to fucking give them your bullets.
Yeah. Well, it'd also be like, okay, well then we need to back out and rethink our strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
They should have all fallen back.
Yeah, they're not trapped here at any point.
No, they should have all fallen back and said, okay, well, shit.
There is a point that comes up where they like their main ship gets. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, that's.
They're not stuck yet.
So
They're
the
still
thing
in the
that
offensive.
Apone being a dumbass sergeant,
yeah,
if he just made her completely useless, she'd be like, "Why are you still carrying the gun around if you can't fire it?" Like, obviously,
the gun
they
just
don't
seems
care.
really like ineffective in the environment they're in.
Yeah, it's not for close quarters.
Like it has a cool looking range of motion.
That's
but
a
like,
long range. Yeah,
they should all have space shotguns right now.
Yeah,
they because they're in tight quarters.
Yeah.
And this is where it's really just
it's all goopy,
beautiful.
Oh god, really the set and where they're at and the close quarters and everything. There's a scene that's later in the film that's so fucking cool.
It's probably talking about right now.
Is it now? Maybe I'm mistaken. It's just because everything's.
I love that. Like
all their excretions that make the hive like look like them and everything. It looks like it might be good
Like, that's
camouflage. Maybe
that's sheer horror.
That's like the
sheer horror. Yeah,
frozen in that like just Jesus Christ.
Yeah, don't get near that. I know what that is.
What a I mean,
it's already open. Never mind.
It's spent.
What a goddamn horrible death that would be. I mean, if you think about it, like
what the face hug.
Yeah, it'd be cocooned by these things, and then
they rip their way out of you.
Yeah, and you're alive through the whole thing.
Yeah, you are because like they find people on the walls, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah,
and that's the weird thing is like most of the creatures we know on Earth that do that, they like eat you, die, or like they eat you. You're not present.
Or like spiders, they cocoon you and liquefy your insides, and then suck it all out.
There are.
But like
organisms on Earth.
But these they don't eat you afterwards. They just like what do they eat? Like
that's the thing that they don't kill you. Because the xenomorph cannot come out of you if you're dead.
Yeah.
It's like killing the mother and expecting her to still have.
What?
Yeah, they have to keep them alive.
Like it has to be the right temperature or something like that. There's something about being alive that they have to have, but they don't because they don't like devour them afterwards or anything.
The alien is gestating inside of them.
Convulsion.
Yeah, they've never really explained if they even need to eat.
It's like they have to gestate. They have to be.
They need to be in a warm.
They need to gestate at 98.6 degrees.
Yeah, they've got to be in a warm host.
Yeah.
Now this was that actor really did that. It wasn't a stuntman because he was like, "I know how to use flamethrowers. I was a NAM." And he was like, "No, you ain't gonna have no stuntman do it. I'm gonna do it."
Well,
so
it's
now this is they have stirred the hornet's nest. These things have basically killed every. I love this when you just start seeing them.
You just start seeing them come down.
It's so beautiful.
It's like they were asleep or something.
And they've been. That's what I was about to get at.
Yeah.
But they've been hibernating because they have killed every human on there,
Right.
Or cocooned them for the
yeah.
queen.
Yeah.
So they've been like in hibernation, just chilling.
They just couldn't get to Newt.
And then then the Marines showed up, started blowing flamethrowers around in there.
It's just so goddamn well done. Now,
so they've been sleeping, and they just woke the hornet's nest.
But this movement and how natural that they did it, that's way beyond what they did in the first one, right? The first one you seen
the
like
first
the
one only had
tracking
one alien.
You had the tracking and where it's just like sliding down toward them, flailing.
Well,
like it looked good, but the movements weren't that realistic. This is the first time you see them slither.
Yeah,
like
they.
This is
life.
what I mentioned. Yeah,
it ain't us.
These where they pan up.
Yeah, it's this shot coming up when she goes this girl right here.
These shots right here.
Yeah, maybe they don't show up in infrared at all.
Yeah, they did such a good job.
Because you don't see it till that tail.
Well, they're black, so they wouldn't really show up in infrared.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Like you couldn't like I saw that and rewinded it a couple of times, and you can't see it until it starts moving. Like it's just really well done. Like it's practical done right.
Yeah,
and it still looks good.
Well, it's just the creature design too. It's just so. Obviously, that was the bag of ammo that just exploded.
Well, it's like I gotta know, okay? Because we earlier this week we did like a one-off movie night, and we watched the movie, and the practical looked really good in it, and we talked about like I really want to know why they don't do practical. Like there's obviously manpower. Is the cost that much?
It costs a lot more.
Does it cost that much more?
Yes,
it's quicker
a
nowadays.
lot more.
It's quicker to do it in the. You can control it. So. This is that
He's
famous.
so sweaty. Look at him.
That famous James Horner music. Yeah, see, this guy doesn't know what to fucking do. He's froze up because he doesn't have experience.
The incinerators and fall back by squads.
Should have fell back a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to see an actual creature that exists on Earth that's scary, parasitic, and it seems like an alien, pause this movie or pause this podcast and look up horsehair worms. It'll freak you out, guaranteed.
They turn them into like zombies, or
they turn them into zombies to jump into water and they come out of.
Oh, there's a couple of different ones. There's one that's for rats and cats. There's
this one.
That's a bacteria.
So this scene, like as far. See, like she's not freezing up.
Yeah, she's already seen all this shit.
So she knows. She's like, these guys are gonna all fucking die.
Yeah.
Vasquez?
And of course, she takes charge. I love the sounds that they make. Yeah. There's like a combination of different
slowly
animals.
Getting quieter and quieter because
more and more people are getting Yeah, I mean they just because they set up all these badasses in this movie. And it's so crazy because then they go in here.
Everybody in the audience knows what they're about to go into.
The first encounter, like they just get fucking their asses kicked.
Well, they kind of showed that with him shooting at the kid, like, and I asked that in the beginning.
It's like they've never dealt with
they're all
this.
cocksure and everything. Who are they fighting? Like if Weyland-Yutani is an American corporation and they control everything, they probably haven't fought anybody.
Well, they've never. Well, the Marines have fought. They never fought aliens. So that's why they're so badass and optimistic.
I don't know. I mean, no. I think the fact that they're so trigger happy with the anything that jumps is like maybe they really haven't fought anything in this universe. You know.
Well, other than just other men,
they fought other men, though. Yeah,
maybe
trade disputes and
yeah. But nothing.
So when they came in here and they were all making jokes about it too. Like they're like, man, there ain't no such thing as aliens.
Yeah.
You're like, this bitch is crazy. We're gonna go in there and kick some ass. And then they see them and they don't know how to fight them.
There's gonna be more corporations in the Weyland-Yutani, and that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna fight. Weyland-Yutani is gonna fight like Tyrell and stuff like that.
Yeah, like for land disputes, like
right.
who claims this new planet we found.
Right.
I mean, Burke even has a line later on, and he's talking about, he goes, if too many people get involved, then we have lawyers get involved, and then we have, nobody can get the claim on something. Like it's kind of like, you know, prospectors. Like,
well, they're countries.
They want to get the claim on, you know, we found this first, you know,
right.
So we get the money and the licensing rights, or whatever, to make.
I mean, it's not that far fetched. Like, you know, like if we figure out a way to where we can get to planets easily, like we figure out like the golden solution.
Oh shit, it's gonna spray you.
This was sad.
You know, whoever discovers the planet, that's their planet. Like, that's the mindset that we would be in, especially in the 80s. Like,
so they filmed a lot of this. They were all basically choking on the smoke.
Yeah.
When they did that shot, they were so close, the smoke kept getting into that little APC, and they were like getting sick and shit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they kind of. Got the acid on Hudson, though. Damn.
So there is this theory talking about going back a little bit. There is a theory called neo-feudalism that a lot of economists have theorized that if we keep going in the same way we are now, that's where capitalism will lead. It's called neo-feudalist, where
makes sense.
Where
it's not governments anymore; it's corporations.
Governments exist the same way they do, but it's whenever individuals gather so much resources and they have paramilitary corporations like Jeff Bezos, right? Jeff Bezos arguably is more powerful than the president of the United States.
Anybody who leads a corporation like Google, Elon Musk technically could be considered the same.
And they'll all have like their own paramilitary organizations.
And they do good things. They do get shit done because they have the resources and the ideas to gather people together to do something they want to do.
Yeah. So it's like instead of being an individual in the future with neo-feudalism, you're just gonna be like you kind of be like a knight in like Jeff Bezos' army or some shit.
He's like, well, I mean, anytime Elon Musk says, I want to go into space and make rockets that can land themselves, you're going to be an engineer pawn in his what he wants to get done. Yeah,
it's an interesting thing. Just look up neo-feudalism. It's fun.
In the 80s, it was like big. Like that was the beginning of like that whole Wolf of Wall Street kind of part of culture. So this is why the Weyland-Yutani thing is a thing.
The decade of excess.
It definitely was.
Ronald Reagan.
Reaganomics.
I mean, that's loving. But I love that's the science fiction thing is that is a big part of it. But it's only about the universe. They don't ever put that in your face, other than the logos everywhere.
Yeah,
it's just the setting.
Just to let you know that they're
the
there.
setting. They have the corporations running everything because that's just how it is. They don't even have to explain it, and that says a lot on its own. You know.
Right now.
This is. Basically, okay, they're licking their wounds. Who's left? Who do we got? And we're down to like.
Here's our line.
Yeah, Sergeant Dietrich aren't dead. This is where they realize.
No, we don't have the line yet.
No, that's not till when they get outside.
It's even more fucked.
They, he realizes, he goes, the Sergeant Dietrich aren't dead. And she's like, no, they're not dead because they're being cocooned. So it's almost like you want to go in there and just like pity kill them.
Yeah.
Because a bullet to the head right now would be way better than what they're in store for.
All right, we've got 7 canisters of CN20. I said we roll them in there and nerve gas the whole fucking nest.
That's worth a try, but we don't even know if it's going to affect.
See, that's,
you don't know.
That line I don't like. He's like, it's worth a try, but we don't even know if it'll affect them. Well, it's still worth a fucking try. Like, let's at least fucking roll it in there and.
It's cost-benefit ratio, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, she goes, let's just go to orbit and nuke them.
Hold on 1 second. This installation has a substantial dollar value attached to it.
They can bill me. You still owe for blowing up the Nostromo.
It's like the first time you met me, an hour later, we were in a meeting about something I blew up.
Yeah.
Like,
you think I give a fuck?
This is clearly an important species we're dealing with.
See, he's got to like.
Yeah. This is the beginning of them revealing that they're doing this
saying
intentionally.
It's wrong. Yeah.
Hey, maybe you haven't been keeping up on current events, but we just got our asses kicked, pal.
This is where Hudson really turns into. Fuck this shit. I didn't sign up for this shit, man.
Well, I believe Corporal Hicks has authority here.
Of all the people that I did get to meet in that Alien Anniversary, I really regretted not getting to meet Vasquez and Michael Biehn, Mr. Corporal Hicks right here. because like he was going on lunch break. I was standing in line for Bill Paxton, and Michael Biehn was right next to him. I was going to him next, and he like left, and I was like, shit.
He's still around?
Damn.
Huh?
He's still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive. No.
Right.
Bill Paxton died.
Yeah, he's
I
still
know
alive.
that. I know that. I'm just.
Yeah.
You still got a chance, Tim.
Maybe that's why he's not dead. Is because
You go to at least
shake
like
his
2 a year,
hands.
right?
Oh yeah, at least 2 or 3. If every one I can try to do.
It's been a while.
Well, the last one was back in May.
Let's do it.
The one where you met Khaleesi's?
Yeah, that's right. I was trying to think of.
How'd she smell? What'd she smell like?
I bet she smelled like a gardenia.
She smelled very pretty. I got a number. I'm not going to do anything with it.
I bet she smelled like a fresh gardenia.
She's very, very short.
Oh, yeah.
Extremely short.
Well, she's like,
huh?
Yeah.
But that's why you were saying, like, yeah, meeting Sigourney. She's a very, very tall woman.
Move it, Spunk Man.
That's how we weren't recording, but it's like you said she was taller than you, and I was like, no fucking way.
Well, she's in heels, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she was in heels.
That's actually why Ridley Scott cast her in the first place, because her agent was like telling her, was like, hey, if you go into this, wear some flat shoes, and she was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
And so she's like 6 foot, and she was in tall heels, and she was like 6'6", meeting Ridley Scott, and he like she was intimidating, and he was like, all right, you're intimidating me, so.
Well, that's like what people say nowadays,
Yeah.
like, oh, well, you finally, like, we have our first superhero woman finally, like, with Wonder Woman. I can't remember what movie I'm talking about. And, like, the meme is like, yeah, y'all fucking forget about Ripley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Damn.
It's fucked.
I guess they didn't want to cocoon her.
I mean, this...
But that was, like, bullshit, because, like, the dude was just, like, outside the ship, like, walking around, and the ramp was down like that. It was completely irresponsible. What was he like? I'm going to go outside and have a smoke.
Let me get some of this fresh space air.
Yeah.
This is... So, I mean, Alien and Aliens, like, these are, like... Probably could be considered, like, one of the first, like, mainstream, like, feminist films. Right?
Well, it was
a female protagonist.
That was the twist, basically, in the first film. It's because Tom Skerritt, the guy that played Dallas, the captain, he was an established actor, and it was not common, obviously, for a female to be the heroine. So, and it was because it was her first movie too. That was the twist in the first movie, was that like, oh well, Tom Skerritt, the badass Captain Dallas, is going to save the day. Yeah, well, wait.
Finished.
But so when Tom Skerritt was like the second guy to die in the first Alien, people were like, "Whoa,
what
shit!"
the hell?
Like they were like, "We don't know what."
Did they present her as?
That's the picture.
I'm sorry, Newt.
The photo that I have autographed for our listeners. It's this photo of the two of them together.
All right, I'm cheers to the
Game
gamers.
over.
Cheers to Bill Paxton.
Cheers to.
God rest your soul.
It's this close up right here that I had both of them autograph.
And this is the return of Bill Paxton to A to Z 2s.
And so when Carrie signed my thing, and it was really sweet because I got Carrie hands, the little girl Newt, I got her autograph first. So when I got to Sigourney Weaver, I was putting that photo in front of her that Carrie had already signed.
Mm-hmm.
And Carrie was like way far away from her.
Yeah.
And I remember putting that photo in front of Sigourney going, this is what I wanted her to autograph. And when she saw Carrie and that she had autographed, they bonded like hardcore in this film.
On the film,
like if you watch documentaries, like, and it was Sigourney being method actress or whatever, like attached herself to Newt like hardcore.
Yeah.
Because she knew like.
Because it makes sense, yeah.
Mother figure, yeah. They wanted to strengthen it. And even after, apparently, they really kept contact with each other and everything. And I remember when I put that photo in front of Sigourney, she goes, "Oh, Carrie!" Like she got almost emotional because
and
when I realized that
that
Palooza, that was probably the first time that they had seen each other again
in a long time,
in probably over 20 years.
No, I don't think so.
Well, they'd stayed in contact, but she just like
that little girl wasn't in Hollywood. She stopped acting.
The look on her face was like,
but also, granted, like the whole Comic-Con thing. Like I think most people that have been in films, like even as a child, are realizing the potential of going to those in the last 3-4 years.
Yeah, make some.
So a lot of
money.
people are coming out of the cracks, you know.
I was just saying that it was sweet to notice that Sigourney was obviously like happy about seeing that little girl again after who knows how many years they had seen each other in flesh. It was just a sweet moment.
Well, but it's like that's the thing about especially whenever we talk about the actors themselves. We talk about like Val Kilmer going crazy or whatever, but like there's a general understanding as film fans of like we know what they go through, we know they're famous, all that stuff. Some of them might be assholes, but it's like figuring out they're good ones, you know.
Yeah,
they're still probably all fucked up from the system, but
that's why I think it's just so cool that actors go and do those things because they don't have to do that. They don't have to sit there for 6 hours meeting all these weirdos.
Well, they do if they want to get paid.
But they know that, yeah, it's fucking goddamn.
Well, I mean, back to the connection between like film and music is like a lot of. I mean, the good ones. I guess the good ones that have done well and then like can still make money touring and everything. It's like there is an appreciation. Especially now with streaming and like all the money that's been lost in like digital and the internet. Is like a lot of people are realizing that the only reason that they're famous is because they're fans.
Well, that's why like people that weren't even
fans
ever
have made their career and they legitimately
there's
feel
like
that
all
and know
those,
that.
especially when you get into horror and sci-fi cons like that. There's actors that like, oh, that guy who played Ricky in Friday the 13th Part 20.
Yeah.
But that dude goes to a convention.
Yeah, he gets loved.
There's people fucking
lined
can't
up.
wait to meet him. Yeah. And that's like probably the only thing he ever did. But like, yeah, they realize, holy shit, this movie that I'm got paid $500 for doing back in the 80s, I can make a couple grand a day signing autographs for these fucking hardcore nerds.
Especially if you don't make it like $150 like a lot of people do. You know?
That's the cool thing about it. That's the thing I
Make
love
like $20
about it.
a pop.
Is that it's not. Hey, I can make some money off these kids. It's like that's some real wholesome. That's a wholesome income.
It makes
them
feel really
these
good.
People legitimately care. They care about what you did enough to
impacted their life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I go to those things and spend all that money is because I was like, man, y'all like these meeting those people is just really it's a trip.
I mean, even if they did one thing with it, it's like
so they
I've
basically
gotten so much out of your anyway.
Oh wait, no, okay, here we go. This is special edition stuff.
Damn, look at that.
It's that space laptop, boy.
Yeah, so this is special edition. This whole sequence, and they come back to it later. They're setting up these sentry guns. Yeah.
You know, I'm.
So every time up the sentry guns.
Every time you said like a scene is special edition, I've come to realize I've never seen the theatrical version of this film ever.
Same.
I've never seen it.
You've only seen this.
I've only seen this. Yeah. I've never seen the theatrical version.
Well, I mean, I have the special edition on VHS, so that kind of shows how long it's been around. But yeah, they're setting up those sentry turrets in the hallways for a payoff later on. They're basically hunkering down right now. They said, they've established the ticking clock of this thing's, we fucked up.
Well, they finally went to her and said, what do we got to do now? And she's like, okay, show me the map. Like,
I quote this line all the time. He just gave her a tracking, like, Velcro wristwatch thing.
Yeah.
Which is a plot. Does it mean we're engaged or anything?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've...
You said that to me a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Even though it's not right, we are engaged.
I'll
Let
be
the
nice
people
to
know.
somebody, or I'll give somebody a free shot. They'll be like, "Oh, that's so sweet," and I'll be like, "Don't get excited. Doesn't mean we're engaged or anything."
So y'all have quotes that nobody understands too
all the time.
Oh yeah,
but every once in a while, when somebody does notice a quote that I said, like I gotta give Blake Sticker a shout out. I've done it a couple of obscure movie quotes before at the bar,
he's always known,
and he's called back at it, and I gotta give him credit.
I've been saying that thing is the only reason that people wear like band or movie T-shirts. That's the only reason.
To see if somebody gets it.
Just because it's like you hope that somebody say, "Hey, dude."
Yeah, or when I wear my little movie shirts, somebody goes, "Man, cool shirt," I'm like, "Thanks." I
think it applies more to band shirts.
Well, then
that's to be like, "Hey, look, I listen to fucking Slipknot. I'm crazy."
No, I mean,
no, it's for people to be like, "Hey, cool, I listen to that band."
It's a flag.
Too. It's a flag.
It's like, yeah. It's to pick out.
Nothing bad in there.
This was the scene that they showed when they were like, best supporting actress, or not supporting, best actress.
Because she's just a piece of plastic.
Right. I'm sorry, Nick.
It's a piece of plastic.
Little space heater. They still have those shitty fire safety space heaters.
That's a space heater.
In space.
Okay.
Because I've been calling everything space things.
And scene. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. This has been A to Z Movie Podcast. We're going to leave on a high note.
It's a space eater.
Must be pretty strong.
That cracked me up. Space eater. Oh, they had to start talking about like babies growing inside you. Yeah, well, you know what? That's not the same thing.
See, this was cut out too.
Where is she?
Part of this conversation was not in the theatrical version when she asked her if she's ever had a baby.
Yeah, so I've never seen the theatrical version. So
wow,
yeah.
I actually saw. I have a very vague memory, and I actually watched these movies.
Oh, she just put the locator on Newt. Yeah, so
yeah, that was a little kind of like.
Yeah.
They did a scene to go like, here it is, so that we know now. That's almost kind of like. I mean, I know you have to do stuff like that. Like we saw her just put the locator on Newt.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, and maybe back in the 80s, audiences weren't as smart as they are nowadays. But like nowadays, we would be like, okay, well, she's clearly going to get lost now.
Yeah,
They're obviously going to get separated because that's going to be the, oh, wait, I know where we can save her. You know, I put this thing on her. So it's, those kind of things are a little transparent. But it also can just kind of put you on edge because now you're worried that that's going to happen because.
Well, you could be worried of one. You could be worried of one of two things. You could see this, being an audience member. You could go, okay, so that means that Newt's going to get lost and they're going to find her, or it could mean Sigourney Weaver is going to get lost and she's going to be without a way to be found.
Yeah,
so it could be one of the two.
Shit.
Yeah, it's not clearly like indicative of one thing or the other.
But also because,
but it makes you know something's going to go wrong.
Well, that's
again.
the thing. Yeah, it's very foreboding because
foreboding.
especially the fact that she put it on a child.
Right.
So you're going, oh fuck, something bad ain't going to happen to the little kid, is it? You know, like it can make you really.
Let's go through it again.
Kids ain't safe in space.
Because now you're like, okay, the little girl's alone in that room. So you can start. It can be a tactic to make you go, oh shit, something bad's going to happen. I got a feeling.
Well, she's been living in like before they got there. She was living in like the trash deposit, I believe, right?
Because she found out that the two little entrances were too small for the aliens.
Too small,
to
yeah.
get
So
through.
she was sleeping in like one of the trash places.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if she's in that room and sleeping in that bed for the first time and she's not comfortable. She have to just like empty the trash can on the bed and be like, there, now I'm comfy.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they come back?
Oh, when they come back in the room and she's gone? Yeah.
Well, no, we'll wait. See, they're talking about
how they're eusocial.
Yeah, they're like ants.
I want these specimens destroyed as soon as you're finished with them.
They are a lot like ants, actually.
Well, this is where she goes, okay, because they're trying to figure it out. They're like, okay, so these things capture them.
He was very specific about it.
This is where we find out Burke's a piece of shit. She goes, destroy the specimens when you're done
And he was
with
an
them.
android. He wasn't going to lie. Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes, well, Burke said we got to take them back.
And we will be set up for life.
So, yeah, he's...
Do you really think you can get a dangerous organism like that past ICC quarantine?
How can they impound it if they don't know about it?
See, he just gave himself up.
Yep, sure did.
Because the plan was she and Newt would be impregnated.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, how they can impound it if they don't know about it? Right there, she should have been like, holy shit.
Wait, what are you planning?
What is your fucking plan right now?
Burke, Carter J. You sent them out there and you...
Burke Carter J.
Why didn't you warn them, Burke?
Okay, look.
Because he was told to purposely send them out there so that they would all get fucking fucked by aliens.
Everybody steps in. Administration steps in.
There's no exclusive rights for anybody.
Right.
He goes, it was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call. Because he's like, if too many people step in, nobody gets any exclusive rights. He sent all those people to their deaths.
Yeah. He just gave it all away.
Yeah. But obviously, he was still just following orders.
Yeah.
He can't be too high up the totem pole, otherwise they wouldn't have sent him. He's expendable to the company, too, basically. They don't give a fuck if he dies.
Well, in this universe, apparently they don't give a fuck if the Marines die because they don't have their own ship.
Yeah.
So
now
mercenary
he's like,
organization.
He did a really good job right there of like, fuck. Like, if she goes and tells those Marines, I'm fucked. This is special edition scene where we...
In the tunnel.
So basically, before they were all the aliens were dormant and kind of basically hibernating.
Oh, that's cool. This wasn't in the movie?
No. And they, but now that they've stirred the hornet's nest, they're all spreading out around the compound trying to find them.
Right.
Because now they know there's more hosts. So before, when they were all contained in that one spot, now they're all over the place.
Shooting gallery down there.
Well, dwindling
So
down.
this is a special scene.
20.
All this thing with the sentry guns, yeah.
B guns dry, 20 on A.
And it's really not important to the plot. I mean, this is just kind of a scene.
No. It's suspenseful, though.
No.
This scene is just to let us know, like, hey, they're right outside the door.
I have a YouTube worthy argument to make.
Basically this scene is to let them know, like, they're not safe. The aliens know where they're at. Basically, this is like they're not hidden anymore.
It's the enemy at the gate scene.
Yeah, they've barricaded themselves in here, and now there's no escape.
Yeah.
Because the aliens, because those sentry guns are out there, the aliens just threw. Because the queen probably sent her little, just throw warriors at it until they run out of bullets, and now we know where they're at.
Space bugs.
4 hours.
Space bugs?
Yeah, dang old space. Oh yeah, that's right. And the generator's heating up. Yeah, it's becoming unstable and it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
Too.
The exhaust vents are trying
to name a movie that was used in.
What movie?
That trope of
the core is getting hot. It's going to blow soon.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start with Event Horizon.
It's the ticking clock of we got to do something. We can't just sit here and wait for rescue.
Now I'm gonna bite on this rock. It ain't half fair, man.
Nobody? Anything?
I don't know.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's a huge trope. It's been done a million times. It's like it's in any action movie. The bomb. We got to get to the bomb before it explodes,
Yeah,
and
it's a ticking bomb.
they defuse the bomb with 1 second left. You know.
Think of something. We better think of a way.
Think of what?
We're fucked.
Shut up!
What about the colony transmitters? The uplink tower down at the other end. Why can't we use
No, I checked. The wiring between
So this is.
We can't align the dish.
And this isn't even really exposition. It's just more like, okay, this is.
Portable terminal. Go out.
Well, they're
is
making
the
the plan.
plan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. With those things running around. You can me out.
He's so unhinged, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, man. Hey, why don't you go, man?
But I love how quickly he. Look.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the only one qualified to remote pilot the ship anyway.
Yeah, right, man.
It's just like, right, man. He's like, yeah, Bishop, he ain't fucking human. He just immediately goes from panicking to, yeah.
Yeah.
He's just the biggest pussy. But they do give him like a redemption.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they do that like, that's like in Lord of the Rings with Boromir, you know, the guy that starts losing it.
Right.
But then he dies a valiant death, you know, protecting everybody else. Before the end, he finds his courage.
He got his comeuppance.
This, just watching this makes me so fucking claustrophobic.
See, I don't understand claustrophobia
Dude, this
at
scene.
all.
This scene
If I'm in a
freaks me
spot
the
where I
fuck
can't,
out.
if I don't have enough room to like put my arms out, I'll start panicking.
See, I have this.
I don't have that at
this.
all.
I can.
I won't like panic.
I can
like,
think about what it would feel.
like,
What I would
look how
feel like
tight
in that
that
spot.
Oh, yeah, it's real tight.
But then the only thing that freaks me out
Start
even more
finding it hard to
is
breathe.
thinking about it getting hot.
Yeah.
And then I'm starting to sweat, and that setup, I can't stretch my arms out. I freak out. Yeah.
And you can't see.
Doesn't
That
bother me
freaks
at all.
me out.
You can't. See the end, or I mean,
I kind of like tight spaces.
Good for you.
yeah.
Kind of like it.
You can have them. I get,
So
I
if
get
we-
stressed
so-
in big crowds.
So apocalypse scenario, we all know that Aaron's going to take the.
Oh, yeah,
damn it! It's going to be
He's
me.
going to be
It's
the
always
guy
gonna
that
be
goes
me.
crawls in the foxhole.
Actually,
It's got to be me.
That was kind of my specialty
small
when
one.
I worked for Advanced Systems and stuff, like running wires.
Go through the attic.
I was like, I'm talking like tiny crawl spaces. They'd be like, send Aaron, he'll do it. And I'd have like the wire in my mouth, just like doing the same thing. Just
Well, like scenes in movies where they're like, okay, we have to swim under this thing.
Yeah, that's a little different now. Now you're talking about
and then we got to get up to.
Count me out on that one.
Just to clarify, all of the scenes of them and the bullet count.
Everything with the bullet count.
Anything with the
all
bullet count.
special.
Okay. Let's
Yep.
put in my notes.
Even this right here, yeah.
Guns stop them.
Pulled back for now. Because they're going to start looking for a different way in.
Another one, yeah.
Yeah. That's what they should be worried about. Okay. Is there anything we forgot?
Next time they walk right up and knock.
Yeah, but they don't know that. They're probably looking for other ways to get in. That'll take them a while.
Maybe we got them demoralized.
I want you two walking perimeter.
Now this is back to theatrical.
Move.
Tells them to.
So in the theatrical version, they just got in this
Stay
room
frosty.
and then they hear a bunch of noises and then they just okay, now we got to do something.
We're all in strung out shape.
There's none of
Yeah.
that defensive shooting.
Yeah. Stay frosty. It probably trimmed 3 or 4 minutes out of the movie, maybe. But when you put it all together. And these were really like, all the, Apone and all the other guys died, but they were throwaways. These were like Hicks, Hudson, Vasquez.
Yeah.
They were like the standouts. So at this point in the movie, like.
They're the ones with the most personality and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, man, I really hope they all get out of here. That's always that, like, okay, they look like they got it under control.
Well, that's dark.
When they were,
Or at
basically,
least
she
they, at
says,
least they got their shit together. At least, at this point.
she's like, if this happens, you'll kill me, right? She's like, promise you'll fucking kill me.
Yeah. They got a little romance thing going on right here, dude.
Yeah.
1A pulse rifle, 10 millimeter.
It's
Is that the commander that's in over his head, or is that
No,
this is Hudson.
He's a corporal, so
this is Corporal Hicks.
By de facto, he's next up in chain of command, but
because Lieutenant Gorman is still passed out. He got a concussion
the,
when they were escaping.
the weak guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
the inexperienced guy. Yeah.
Oh, he's still
alive. He's just
out of
unconscious
commission.
still. Yeah.
Well, he's got a really bad concussion. If you don't
I
look up,
love
he's
the
in coma.
designs of these guns too.
That's what I'm saying. It looks just like Halo.
It's fucking awesome.
See
Yeah.
the
number on the
digital
side?
count on the side?
Yeah.
It's just like the
'Cause
Halo.
Halo
assault-
ripped it off.
Yeah, of course they did.
And
all the best artists are the best
Sigourney
thieves.
Weaver very, very, very famously hates guns. She's very anti-gun. I mean, she like does rallies and shit.
You know what I'm gonna do?
Like in real life. So like doing
I'm gonna go
all
to
of
the
this,
The Internet Firearms Database.
she this was very hard for her. And there's a really funny thing in the. Oh wait, here we go. We were just talking about Gorman. See, now she's all like, "Yeah, I got a gun." Now we see Gorman's awake.
How do you feel?
All right, I guess. One hell of a hangover.
So she's kind of
Look, Ripley, I just
Forget it.
she's stepping up into a more of a in charge role because she realizes all these other dudes that are in charge are inept. Burke's a piece of shit company man that does not care.
Yeah, dude, it's bureaucracy, man.
Yeah, and Lieutenant Gorman, who she was just talking to,
It's
who
the failings of
fucked up,
bureaucracy, yeah.
she's like, yeah, forget. He's like, he was about to apologize, and she's like, fucking forget it.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want to, but I'll fucking
I'm gonna take care of this shit myself.
If I gotta take charge, then fuck it. Because she was really worried, like when they cast, she's like, I don't want to come in and be like a basketball coach, like you do this, you do this. This is what we got to do. But it was just natural as everybody around her that was supposed to be in charge and have it under control fucks up. This is what I was talking about. Like she didn't go actually get in but the bed was too comfortable for her, so she gets on the cold floor.
What are you laughing at on the Internet
You know the
Firearms
big
Movie
gun
Database?
that they made out of the Steadicam?
Yeah.
It was constructed from various motorcycle parts.
Oh,
Most
the
noted, the
handle.
handlebars
Yeah.
from a 1976 Husqvarna Magura 316.
What they're holding in the front and both the handle grips, and they even still
it had
have
a Kawasaki control panel and foot pegs from a AR 125.
They even still have the
clutch,
the hand, the clutch thing on it. Yeah,
the clutch pedal.
That was basically like
clutch lever.
the trigger. Yeah,
That's so funny. This is a good website.
Yeah, I
like
forgot.
this
I
website.
forgot about that. So Bishop can remote pilot the other ship down from the Sulaco. The Sulaco is the main one.
Right,
These
the
are their little
one in orbit.
Their little drop ships.
Yeah.
So their plan right now.
Bishop also doesn't need oxygen.
If they can hold out,
Yeah.
if they can hold out in their little barricaded room, he can fly that thing like right up to the front door.
Yeah.
And get them all out of there. Obviously, it won't be that easy.
I don't know. We have a lot of time left. It feels like something's going to go wrong.
Yeah. Everything's been going too well for these characters.
I haven't heard much screaming.
The very much is a fucking alien in that room right now. If only they had the,
So
the
this
xenomorph bounces.
This is the trope scene. This is another separation of the characters. And the hiding and something going on.
She just found like a specimen container.
This is the kitchen
wiggling.
Jurassic Park scene.
She put her pulse rifle on that bed, and somebody has removed it. Yeah,
Oh,
this is the
corruption.
scene. Yeah. This is the tense scene of help is right outside the door kind of scene, but they don't know. Like their savior is right there, but the obliviousness of
Well, this is also a betrayal scene too.
Yeah, it's. I've got 5 badass Marines right outside, but they don't know that they need to.
I love the
helping.
sounds this thing makes. It sounds like somebody just like covered a steak in mayonnaise and slid it across the floor.
Start slapping it with a spoon or something.
Yeah,
it's not dog food.
Yeah, like get a steak and just slather it in barbecue sauce and slap it with a big metal spoon like that.
Yeah, all that Foley art. Yeah,
yeah. The sound design was actually a guy named Ray Lovejoy, who was the sound editor on this. He also worked on Tim Burton's Batman 3 years
dang.
later.
That's crazy.
4 years later.
Look who it is. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
He's at the uplink tower.
He's doing too much, man. That's too much, bro.
He just looks too nervous.
Yeah, I'd be just trying to get out of there alive. I wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah, like Ripley already knows your plan right now. Like,
yeah,
your best course of action is to be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, fuck this. He could really do the whole, man, I was just following orders.
Yeah,
but now
yeah,
that I'm here and I'm seeing this is fucked up.
Right.
Let's get out of here. But no, he's still like, no.
Well, he wants to make money. That's what it is. He knows he's going to make a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Because
if they can both get impregnated right now.
He's hoping that he can, as an individual, not even as a company man, he hopes as an individual he can like copyright this life form and be fucking rich.
The one plot hole is, okay, he went in there after they fell asleep and took her pulse rifle away from her.
Yeah.
How did he get the face hugger in there with them?
It was in the containment.
They're in the containment room.
It was in that bowl, so he just knocked that shit
Oh,
over.
the one that was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of.
Okay.
That's why it's like that's the betrayal because it didn't get out. It wasn't moving. It was inert, and then
He let it
just
out,
fell over. And they're like, then the alien didn't do that. So that's the surprise. It's like
Well,
it's not
that's
an alien.
when they realized, only one of us could have done this. Yeah. There's a lot of great reverse photography in this scene. The way it just moves so fast.
It's almost like the thing Spiderhead.
Yeah, and it's like that's reverse right there.
Oh, that was too.
That was a reverse around her throat.
Every time I see it, it's the Half-Life crabs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's 2.
That's the first thing
there's
you
2
come across.
people.
That's so tense because it's like about to get free any second.
She's
and get
pushing
her.
it, but she's pushing into it up against the wall. Yeah.
And Hudson saves her. Okay, you got it. This right here, she does this. Her gasping for air right here.
Yeah. Thing's got her, man.
That sound right there.
So, Aaron,
she does such a great job.
No,
of
I can't choke out a xenomorph.
You can't choke out.
No, I can't choke out a
face
xenomorph,
hugger?
dude. No,
That face hugger will choke you
it ain't
out.
got no neck, bro. How can I choke that thing out?
Yeah,
It's a
I mean, I
spider.
had to ask. I just had
It ain't
to
got
ask.
no neck.
It'll choke you out. But there's just something really terrifying about that thing. Latches onto your face, shoves that fucking vagina dick down your throat.
Yeah. That ovipositor. Yeah.
And then it whenever they part of the life cycle, they crawl off and they die immediately because the facehuggers die as soon as they implant the egg. It's just the life cycle.
He figured that he could get an alien back through quarantine.
And us.
If one of us was impregnated. Whatever you call it.
So sweaty. Yeah.
Frozen for the
See,
Nobody would know about the embryos.
when Hudson goes, "You're dog meat, pal." Like, just shoot him. Oh, and to sum up the corporate greed and the excess and all we're talking about with the company and everything like this, it's her comparison to them versus humans.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Jettison the bodies and make up any story he liked.
Fuck! He's dead. You're dog meat, pal.
Listen to what you're saying. So,
Listen to what you
He pretty much told her. She pretty much told her he was going to do that. And,
Yeah. In so many
Yeah.
words, yeah.
It's pathetic.
Her line right here.
You know, Burke, I don't know which species is worse. You don't see them fucking each other over for a goddamn percentage.
Yep. They're just animals.
Yeah.
So there is an anti-corporate message in this
Yeah.
movie.
Humans are all kind of worse because
What do you mean they cut the power? How could they cut the power, man? They're animals.
I want you two with the backers checking the corridors. Move!
there we go. This is the Battle of Thermopylae. This is the
Oh, yeah.
the Seven
The Last
Samurai.
Stand.
Yeah, the Seven Samurai, the Magnificent Seven, few against impossible odds, which is a wonderful one of my favorite movie tropes. Is the last stand kind
Last
of thing
Stand, yeah.
where they're completely outnumbered, but they give it their all.
The Alamo.
The Alamo, yeah. Remember
You
that
better
Alamo.
not forget.
I forgot, man.
How dare you?
Kicked me out of Texas.
It's inside the complex.
It's actually a much less famous last stand that took place in Mexico. It was 3 French foreign legionnaires against 180 Mexican armies, and they actually defeated them.
Well, it was
Yeah.
in Mexico. That's why it's less known.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And we're back.
We did lose the Alamo, and most of the people bailed. So
Yeah, most of
Anyway.
them were cowards. Yeah.
Hey, you better
No,
remember though,
no.
I'll say it.
the people that stayed weren't cowards.
Newt. Seal the door. Hurry!
Run! Come on, get back!
Dang, I never. Man, Vasquez.
I wish
got some
we had
cakes.
a red lighting right now.
Yeah, dude.
Vasquez got some
I know.
cakes, bro.
I just thought about
Damn
that.
it.
I was like, man, it'd be awesome if that red lighting worked right now.
Movement. Signal's clean. Range 20 meters.
They found a way in. Something we missed.
We didn't miss anything.
18. 17.
I always thought it was a different sound.
Not in the plan.
The what?
I always thought the sound had like,
The pinging sound?
yeah, I thought it was a ping.
It's a ping.
It's like a kick.
See, how did they not think about the fucking air ducts?
Yeah.
Or you think Newt,
Have they not been going through the
Newt-
air ducts?
you think,
Newt knows,
You
'cause
think
she's-
Newt would have
yeah.
said it? Newt would have been
Yeah.
like, well, they like to travel in those little corridors.
12 meters. 11. 10.
Then they're right on us.
9 meters.
Remember, short, controlled bursts.
That's right.
8 meters.
Conserve ammo.
7.
And because plus they have acid for blood,
Yeah,
it just
you
takes
can't- you can't just go blast
Well,
it,
just
dude.
a couple
Yeah.
of them will almost make them like
Yeah.
explode almost.
Get right.
5 meters, man.
Can't believe it took them this long to figure that out.
What the hell?
Yeah, look under, above the panel.
Give me the light.
Fuck that! Everybody fall back.
Yeah.
Toss a grenade up there and fucking fall
This movie
back.
should just be called like When to Fall Back. Yeah.
Yeah, know when to fall back.
What? Why? Why would you go in there?
That's like a cockroach fucking hive.
Freaking suspended
See,
ceilings,
that was
man.
fine, but it didn't
Yeah.
look that like that was kind of a.
Well, they
Bunch of
did a
dudes
lot
in
of if you look like they hired like dancers and
Yeah.
stuff, like ballet
To be in
dancers
the
to get in
costumes.
the
Yeah.
suits because they were very thin and agile, so they could kind of move, in those different ways. The alien suits, when you see them in like normal light, they look
kind of chunky.
They were
Yeah.
super shiny.
Yeah.
They were almost like had a copper coloring to it. But when you put it in the right lighting and stuff in the movie and the actors moving around, it showed.
Oh, those kind of look like foam. They didn't look that great in that
Well, that's
shot.
what I'm saying. Well,
That's
they
probably
had-
the worst.
Well, they have a
realistic
couple
shot.
like hero costumes that they
Yeah,
call them that
yeah.
show up in the foreground, and then like people in the background is a lot more like black spandex and
Right.
a
Yeah.
little bit. But they hired dancers and stuff so they could move and jump around and be agile in them and make them lightweight. Here comes Hudson's big.
Come on, you bastard! Come on, you too! Oh, you want some of that? Fuck you! Fuck
It's really sad.
Yeah. Is he getting dragged down? Yeah.
This last shot, yeah.
Oh, dang.
With the hand on its face.
He's going Hudson. Like, oh man, it's really sad. It's kind of great. They could take a
Hey,
character.
at least he found his balls though by the end of the
that's
movie.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They could take a character that was pathetic and cowardly the whole movie, and then by the time he gets to his death scene, you're like, oh man.
No, I mean, I think he had valid complaints.
No, yeah.
I think he had very valid complaints.
Get him, Vasquez. Well, you also realize, that Burke's...
I'd be killing Burke when I found him.
Yeah, Burke's one door ahead of them, locking them behind him. So what does he think he's going to survive on his own?
It's like, dude, if you kill these people, I mean...
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere, dude.
Well, they were about to kill him, I guess, so...
Still don't matter.
But... Good
Want
death.
to make out? That's what the alien said.
For some reason, I thought he was an android, too.
I think at that moment, Burke was like, okay, well, if they all die, the aliens kill them right now. If he's lucky, he can get to the drop ship with Bishop, and Bishop won't have any of that information. So he can just be like, yeah, sorry,
all dead.
I'm the last one alive. Let's get the fuck out of here. Yeah, Bishop wouldn't have known.
No, they would just go on to phase 3. They would just, okay, so this is what's going on. It's there. We just got to go get it now.
Yeah, they just sent another team later on. This is the big movie trope. Air ducts are not big enough for people
if they're
to
space
run
ducts,
through.
they might be.
Space
Spaceships
ducts.
are huge.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't think about
spaceships
space
are
ducts.
really
space
huge.
ducts.
They're on a planet, you fucking...
The planet's in space,
No, they're
though.
not. They're
on a planet. They're on LV.
They're on a facility, yeah.
Oh, that's right. They're on a colony, right?
Yeah, but that planet and that facility's in space, though.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Quit trying to make space a
And
thing.
even if it was a thing, they wouldn't be all shiny and clean. There'd be dust and cobwebs.
Just shoot enough, that way they barricade themselves.
Yeah, just
Let them pile
clog
up.
it up with bodies, yeah.
You sure?
I mean, the acid would definitely eat the duct
Yeah,
out.
and they'd start falling through it.
They just-
Yeah. There'd be giant gaps.
You can tell she's been in there quite a few times.
Yeah. Which means that girl had to have been there. This is sad, too.
Oh, no. Yeah, you can't get out of that.
Yeah.
No way. No way she was
Hell
strong
yeah.
enough to push him up against the side of the...
I don't know. Did you see her doing her overhand pull-ups?
Yeah,
she's strong
she's
enough.
pretty
But that was
strong
with her
bitch.
foot, though. Like,
She's strong enough.
Well, plus it was coming down on
Yeah.
top of her, so it
Right.
came
Now-
down. It landed upside down and was like flipping around
Yeah.
trying to get into a.
we haven't really seen...
And her
like
foot's strong as fuck. Look
we
at her.
haven't
She
seen
got
a
cakes, dude.
Yeah, but we haven't seen a standard representation of their strength. We've seen them pull people up in the first film.
Yeah, they're fast moving, but they've never really shown that they're like super strong
Yeah.
or anything. They're very.
They do
fast.
have an exoskeleton, but it doesn't mean
They're like bugs, so they probably have bug strength, which is pretty incredible.
Amazing.
They got that
Amazingly,
bug
yes.
strength.
You always were an asshole, Gorman.
This is a great. Another
That was a good sound.
two characters that hate each other.
Fuck yeah. So let's hold it close. Make sure it totally
We're gonna
gets
take a
us.
shot to Vasquez.
Yeah.
Here's the Vasquez.
Self-sacrifice.
And Gorman.
Cheers.
I always like Newt's scream.
Don't let go.
Ripley! It's so annoying. Ripley! Like, you stupid little bitch. You slid out of, like, how limp were your arms?
You
that
slid out of that
slid
coat,
out
yeah.
of that coat like that?
Stay where you are, Newt.
But this is like we were talking about.
Yeah,
Now it's like,
now it's
oh,
time.
okay,
You gotta go
that's
find-
why
yeah.
she put the locator on Newt's wrist.
Uh-oh.
Get out of the water. Like, ugh.
See, this you're talking about tight spaces. This is what makes me uncomfortable.
Get out
in
of
movies,
the-
is water.
Do you not
yeah.
like dirty water? You can't
No,
tell
no,
what's in
water.
it with you?
Just
Big water.
Just things hidden below the surface of
That's
water.
what I'm saying. Like water, you can't see what could be right fucking next to you in the water. I hate
you want to hear a terrifying
swimming in
experience
lakes and shit like
Sure.
that.
I was whenever I was like younger than 16, I would ride BMX, right? So like getting close to the 16, we would drive to Beaumont and like go ride bikes around like downtown and stuff.
Yeah.
Back like 10 years ago or more. And we were around like this like kind of building that was kind of shut down and had been demolished a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're walking around and there's this
You got in poop water.
No, look, there was this square that looked like just like kind of like peat. It looked like just like
coconut
wood
husk.
shreddings
Yeah.
or something, and there was concrete around it and everything. And I stepped onto it thinking it was solid, like just a dirt patch, and went just doom under
All the way in.
over my head into whatever it was. And it was downtown Beaumont. I don't know where it was.
It was probably sewage water. Yeah.
God knows. Yeah. Didn't hit anything. Clambered out. Yeah. Terrifying.
You didn't even hit the bottom of it?
No.
Oh wow.
I didn't touch anything.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
That's really freaky.
Yeah. Traumatizing.
I'm glad you didn't get hepatitis A.
No, I'm clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doctor says I'm clean. Oh shit!
It's one of those hero suits.
Yeah, it's kind of wobbly.
I don't know how she gets away from that thing. That thing was like right there.
I mean,
it was
she's
right there.
She survived for a bit.
It was, but it was just right there.
It was right there. Yeah. I mean, it was stalking, and they don't. Oh, that's right. That's right, because they take him as host. This is like the first.
Yeah,
this is the first movie they do that.
They try not to kill you. Yeah. Because they need you to.
Because
they
the
need to
face
propagate.
the face huggers are going to get you. Like
Yeah, they need to propagate you, is what it is. Yeah. And they've clarified in the newer films that these xenomorphs are actually like an amalgamation of the DNA between the alien and humans. That's why they look somewhat humanoid.
They're the I think from the movies they're technically like in the outcome of like.
Well, they're
basically the outcome of they dropped a nuclear bomb.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
what came out of them. Yeah,
Kind
they're the
of.
remnants of a biological weapon that was
Yeah,
used.
it's a
on
biological weapon. Yeah,
that's right.
But they assimilate their hosts, and then they become. That's why in Alien 3 there was the xenomorph dogs, because they, whatever the facehugger gets on it, makes like a xenomorph version of that animal.
But this alien itself is not like the outcome of like a bombing, but it's like,
This was like a stranded ship or something. That
xenomorphs
that,
and what happened whenever this little weapon
and the
comes across
eggs,
a
like
human.
you know the little sprouty eggs. That's the bomb.
Yeah.
You just gotta like put a couple of those little sprouty eggs on
It's
a planet.
it's the
When
spores.
that's
Yeah,
and
black
those have the
spores.
facehugger in it. So when they open, that's the egg, and then the facehugger comes out.
Well,
and then
no.
it's,
The
you're done.
facehugger's the second part.
And the facehugger comes out of that sprouty egg.
No, the first part is the facehugger comes from the human.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think they ever connected that.
Yeah, no. The
Well,
facehugger
because
doesn't.
the first part is that black spore,
No,
right?
xenomorphs just pop out of the.
No, I'm
the-
talking
yeah.
about like the Covenant. And,
Oh, well, that black spore was that was more like a nuclear. It just kills you. Yeah.
No, it's what makes. That's why he was doing experiments. That's what makes the.
We'll have
that's
to
what-
look it up.
what
I'm not
makes-
sure.
Yeah.
We'll have to look it up. It's very much like Phantasm putting two guns together.
We're the final act, eh?
Yeah.
This is the last stand.
The last stand.
Yes.
Look at that. And Bishop is trustworthy after all.
See, I watched a bit of this movie passively, and I still thought that Shear was the android.
Oh, yeah?
I thought he was also an android.
Oh, also an android, yeah.
I don't want to hear about it, Bishop.
She's alive.
There's still time.
19 minutes this
You know, the first time I could remember
Start
watching...
a timer right now. 19 minutes.
Yeah, I'll start one.
He said in 19 minutes, this place is going to be a cloud of vapor the size of Nebraska.
I'll start a timer.
It's Dwayne.
Oh,
Ellen.
look, that was deleted.
Don't be gone long, Ellen.
That's kind of creepy.
That was not in the
Oh,
theatrical.
like what's your first name?
Yeah, that was not in the theatrical version where she stops and he goes, my first name's Dwayne, and she says Ellen. I think it's the first time you ever actually hear somebody actually say Ellen. I mean, we know we've always known it's Ellen Ripley, but they've always called her Ripley.
Right.
I think that's in all of the movies. I think that's the only time actually.
Yeah.
And then this classic, fucking James Horner score again. A lot of just like.
It's got a nice pocket.
Drums. This plays very often on my Pandora movie score.
Do you listen to soundtracks
channel.
often?
Predominantly.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite movie score?
Oh man, that's ridiculous to ask.
No.
Hans Zimmer is my favorite.
That's your favorite?
Yeah, I mean
composer
because he's done.
Yeah, he's badass.
Yeah,
Hans Zimmer.
It's kind of funny.
He did.
I have
Dark Knight. I mean, God,
he
I
did
could
Gladiator.
The Dark Knight series, Man of Steel.
Yeah.
BVS.
Do y'all have like the
Rain Man?
Do y'all have
True
like the
Romance.
the rich person in your family, like the rich uncle or something like that?
Yeah, the rich uncle.
I have a rich uncle and
banker,
and one of the things
we don't talk.
One of the things
Nobody
about
in my
soundtracks,
family's rich.
they bought a car like 10, 15 years ago because it had like the surround sound, and they would listen to like the Fifth Element soundtrack and shit. Like they're big into that. I never understood it.
Oh, dude, it's so crazy. Like, because I love listening to that stuff. Because like in your car, like, and Hans Zimmer, like, Superman's first flight comes on. Like, it's hard not to like drive really, really fast.
Yeah.
Like when you're listening to like The Dark Knight Rises, you know.
Yeah.
Or when this comes on, and Ava loves this too. Like anytime the Aliens thing comes on, James Horner, she gets pumped.
Are they better on vinyl?
Of course. my favorite.
Well, it's funny. We had that.
Blade Runner, yeah.
And I gave that to you, and then you gave it back to us to hang in here.
Yeah.
Do you know my favorite soundtrack is the Conan soundtrack?
The what?
That is on my list.
I love the Conan.
Conan?
Yeah, the
Really?
Conan soundtrack is so good.
So are you serious? The only music, like most of the music you listen to, is soundtrack music?
85% of the music I listen to in my car is scores. Yeah, movie scores.
Orchestral.
Props.
Yeah. John Williams, Danny Elfman.
I mean, I've made fun of your going to the cons
Jerry
a lot,
Goldsmith.
but like I respect that. That's cool.
I love listening to that shit. This was the scene I was saying. This movie was on at the bar the other night, and this scene was playing, and this girl kept going.
Scene? Yeah.
She kept looking away, and I was kind of getting excited about that. Like,
watching her discomfort.
It was too much.
Wait, this movie like freaked her out, and that's why she wanted it off.
But then she was watching this scene. She's like, okay, well, like, okay, I get it. Like, I get why she's doing that with the flamethrower. It's like, yeah, because the only thing.
Yeah, because it looks like the background a lot.
Well, but the only thing that they're actually afraid of is fire. The aliens.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah. And so she's basically just doing that, like, to clear a path.
Yeah.
The little burst, if there was an alien around the corner hiding. Excuse me. You know, she would know.
Let's see what we're at.
So she's...
It's 15 minutes now.
15 minutes
on
left.
the timer, yeah.
Did they actually do it properly?
I don't know.
That's what I'm wondering.
Almost
We're gonna
nobody
find out.
does.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Even the ones that you would expect, they don't.
I do that like all the time, like in movies where they have to like swim. Even there's a scene in Alien Resurrection where they have to swim a long distance underwater before they can resurface.
Yeah.
When I see scenes like that in movies, I always hold my breath when they go under
to see. Yeah.
just to see like if it's even remotely humanly possible.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's not.
Well, I think I saw the new Quentin Tarantino, and I think they kind of did that in the movie, but it didn't seem like that long. Or it was something I saw. Maybe it was in game or something where they set a time, and it was obviously not that.
Yeah.
Oh dang. Oh yeah, she hasn't even been done yet. That's right.
Yeah, they
put her right by the egg thing.
Yep, she's cocooned.
The planet of Namek will explode in 5 minutes. 5
episodes later, the planet will explode in 2 minutes. 10 more episodes.
I've got to gather the spirit ball
for 3 episodes. I mean, I always say the reason I love movie scores so much too is because they. I mean, think about this movie without
They're
that,
the cues,
without
you know?
that
Yeah.
music right
Yeah.
now. I mean, you know, that was a great effect. That was an empty suit on wires.
Oh, to the ragdoll?
Yeah,
that's
and they,
that's pretty dope.
That was all editing genius to make it
Yeah.
look natural.
You know, kind of where we're at with music in the modern day is either like the good directors either don't use it at all, almost like there's almost no score.
It can make or break a film.
Or they use cool songs that make you like, oh, that's a cool song. That's a perfect song for this. But like
Yeah.
it seems like
I mean, well,
most of the
imagine-
good movies don't use like an actual score. You know?
Yeah, I mean, imagine Star Wars without that iconic theme.
The John Williams
or,
theme, yeah.
or
Or
Jaws.
the feeling of
Yeah, it sets a tone. And here is the big.
Yeah, because she's like in the egg room. You
So
know?
yeah, so she just stumbled up. Yeah, she's at the core of the hive.
Yeah.
So in the first movie, they did not really go into too much detail about what the life cycle of the alien was past past facehugger.
They made it really alien,
But it was
and strange.
But it was they never addressed like.
Ripley's never seen the eggs. They've only seen the face.
No, she's seen the eggs. She's never seen a queen. She's like, oh fuck.
This is when they showed the. This is the first showing of the queen.
Yes, yeah. They created it. They expanded on the life cycle. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm getting at.
It's a very convoluted life cycle.
Yeah, no, listen to this. Listen to this, Zach, because it's pretty cool. Because it goes back to deleted scenes changing the movie. In the first film, and they kind of changed it. There's a deleted scene in the first film where she's the last one left, and she's running through all the corridors, like trying to get to the escape ship. And she comes into a room and finds Dallas and like Brett. Like where the solo alien in the first movie was starting to create its own little hive, and they were like forming into eggs. It was the grossest, most craziest, coolest thing ever. Like they were.
That was a cut scene.
Yeah, the alien in the movie had cocooned them, and she looks and Dallas is like halfway alive. He's like turning in, like basically like dissolving into an egg.
Yeah.
And he looks at her. He's like, "Kill me!"
Oh,
and she burns him.
That's in a cut scene.
That's
from
a completely
Alien?
cut because the idea behind that was that even if one of these aliens gets separated from the hive,
It can become a queen.
It can still propagate the species.
Yeah, it can be. They can become a queen.
That's the thing about
and that's
hive
a
species.
that's a real thing
Yeah.
with some animals that if they get separated
most
from
of
their
them
hive
can turn into
or become asexual,
Yes.
or switch genders. There's certain frogs that can do
Like
that.
pretty much all of them.
So
can.
that was a whole
Yeah.
idea cut from the first movie that because that one alien was alone, they still can find a way to create more aliens. But this is where we meet the
So that's in the
actual
special
queen.
edition of Alien. then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Completely cut, but it explains more of their life cycle, which even one alone trapped can still create more, which I thought was just fucking makes them even scarier.
Yeah.
That they are, and that's why the company wants them so bad, is because they are the ultimate life form. They can
Well, it's just-
survive.
it's just like a beehive too.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah. They
when
can
the
adapt
queen
to-
dies, one of the other bees will become a queen.
And this
They're
where
not
where she
necessarily
cocks her
evil.
head
They're
right there.
just creatures.
She cocks her head because she showed a little bit of fire.
Yeah.
And basically
And
was
then
like, she was
it was
like,
like,
"Let me walk out of here, and I
You
won't
walk out
kill
of
all
here.
your
Yeah,
eggs."
exactly. And all the others, more kind of retreated.
And then when that one opens, she goes, "Okay, bitch, fuck it."
Isn't it like the big thing about the fourth one, Resurrection, where like she like mates with the queen and all this crazy
she's a
shit
clone
happens?
She wanted to have, and I'm not lying, she wanted there to be a sex scene between her and a xenomorph. I'm not lying. And in Alien Resurrection, there almost is one.
It's
See,
very sexual.
Her mistake right here is that she's so like wants to make sure that no more are born. that she's just-
Everything's about to fucking blow up anyway.
Well, she's going straight
Yeah.
for like the eggs and
Yeah.
the sack.
Right.
Shoot that bitch in the head with one of those grenades.
Yeah.
And she's not going to lay any more eggs.
No, I just mean just get out anyway, because when the
Yeah.
facility blows up, it's not going to matter at all.
Yeah. Like if she didn't have this whole like I have to save Newt thing right now,
she'd already been done.
she'd be
yeah.
cool just dying there with her.
Yeah.
You know, it would be like a suicide mission.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I don't
There's
know.
also like that's a dummy she's holding. That's not really the child.
Oh, that makes sense.
All of
yeah.
this. because she was
big head.
She was getting tired of carrying the kid.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course.
And the little girl Carrie Hadden, so to make that dummy of her, they had to do a face mold like they do to actors all the time. You know, they put you, and you have to sit in that thing for like a really long time.
Yeah.
And the little girl was like, I was fucking freaking out. She was like, I had this moment where I was like, am I going to be in this forever? And I was like, oh, I've had that feeling before when I was on acid.
Is this my life?
Is this my life now?
This is my life.
This is just how things are going to be now, huh? This is how I'm going to see the world, I guess. I wish I could if you could find out who does the voice of the all personnel must evacuate.
Oh, yeah.
Like the
8 minutes now.
8 minutes?
8 minutes.
Okay.
It might be pretty accurate, honestly.
Well, the thing just said you now have 4 minutes to reach minimum safe distance.
We're only 8.5 minutes?
Yeah, I kind of started about 30 seconds after that, so I'm just calling it 8 minutes.
Well, the movie just said 4, so they almost have jumped it ahead.
Oh, yeah, they have, haven't they?
But there might be a difference, because it said 4 minutes to reach minimum safe distance, which means it's not going to explode in 4 minutes, but
That's
you
true.
better be X amount of kilometers away.
Better be a state
when
away.
It does. All of this, too, this is all puppetry. There were, I don't believe that they might have made one miniature of the Queen, but there was never any stop motion with the Queen. That's all puppetry.
Oh, really? Dang.
Yeah, that's all Stan Winston's doing puppets.
Kind of looks like it, too.
And
you can kinda tell.
there's like 30 guys, you know.
Yeah. All
there's guys working the arms. There's 2, I believe, inside of the suit.
It's a big old maquette.
Like basically like sitting, one guy sitting on the other guy's shoulders, and then you got like rows of like joysticks off. Like one guy's controlling its mouth to open and close. The other guy's like just the hissing sound is. And
She's like, let me get in this fucking elevator.
It works when you do it close up. You put it in the right lighting. You add the.
That's the big thing. Is
I
like
think they
lighting.
have like buckets and buckets of KY jelly.
Yeah, that's the thing is lighting. Because CG something just doesn't look right about the lighting.
Yeah.
It's all shiny.
Yeah,
You know
well, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
A lot of the alien drones
Yeah.
were copper toned almost. They were really shiny in normal light, but once you lit them the right way and you put the slime on them and everything, they almost look blue. This is where we're supposed to go. Oh, Bishop.
Oh yeah, Bishop.
Bishop left her. But remember, he
fucked us.
He, even by omission of action.
Right. He can't. Yeah.
This is kind of the first time too, where we see the aliens aren't completely dumb. Like when
She figured out what an elevator was.
When they cut the power earlier, he goes, "How do they cut the power? They're animals."
They're animals, man. They're animals.
Because they're not dumb. Yeah, she learned.
Well, if they are use social hive minds, then that means that like most of the intelligence would come from the Queen anyway.
Yeah, or almost if they see somebody else do it.
Yeah.
You know, if your dog sees you open the food cabinet enough times,
right? It
knows how to open the food cabinet.
Anytime Rocky hears my keys jangle, he gets excited.
It's like Pavlov's dog.
Or anytime he hears any sort of food wrapper at all, he goes fucking ballistic.
Oh, I even noticed earlier before you got here, Zach goes, "You want to go smoke?" And Rocky popped up.
God, don't say that.
Because he knew that meant we're going outside.
Oh yeah.
And this again, here's the. See if you can name those instruments. That's. I'm trying to figure out what that metallic sound is. Like
it's just some percussion. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to figure out which instrument. Like it's.
A timpani. It's a giant drum.
Well, there's lots of giant drums, but
it has a sharp attack. Like it has like a whack to it.
Yeah.
But it also has like the sub note.
Yeah.
So you get that slap, but you also get the sub note with it.
Well, the landing gears.
Almost like a reverberation.
It barely has a tone to it.
And this theme right here, been in a million trailers and even other movies.
What would you describe that as? That
It's almost like a march.
That thing's about to blow. Better cover your eyes. If you stared into a nuclear explosion, you're going to go blind.
It'd almost melt your eyes, yeah.
Yeah, you would
definitely burn your retinas.
It would burn your retinas.
Oh, they just get some Android eye replacements.
I only do eyes.
I only do eyes.
Your Nexus 6.
I design your eyes.
Oh,
And
I
there's
forgot.
that
was
sweet, sweet Zelda
Wait, I
flute.
forgot. That was the explosion. 4 minutes are left.
Oh, wow. So they
They skipped 4 minutes.
They
Well, I
didn't,
guess
they didn't drag it out. They
Well,
actually
it's
speeded
time
up.
for like when she was going up the elevator and
Yeah, they didn't drag it out. They
so that
sped
actually
it up.
probably adds up.
There could have
if
been
you
a
really-
scene where she's just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we going to do next? Like,
The elevator stalls.
I always love the flute.
This is the false
happy
hope.
ending.
Yeah, the happy. Yeah, put in some flutes so everybody goes, "Oh, the danger's over."
Why's it always flutes with space?
They're gonna.
Oh.
It just has kind of a happy.
The
tone
shit's
to it.
kind of
airy and
going
ethereal,
into
I
the,
guess.
it's like,
Well, violins are the saddest instrument. Flutes can invoke a very happy tone. Drums
Hopeful.
are foreboding
and marchy.
Yeah, and marchy. There's different
Driving.
instruments for different things. Did y'all see the thing I posted in the group the other day?
Oh, snap!
Queen takes Bishop.
Damn.
oh, God damn it. That makes me angry.
So I remember when I saw this. I saw this movie.
My mother.
I saw this movie when I was a kid,
the mother.
and nothing freaked me out about this movie until I saw his white blood, and I was like, "Why is it white?"
Yeah.
Well, that's
Why
the
is
most.
it white?
That's the most violent thing you've seen.
Yeah.
Is
And the
Well,
fact
it's
that
not
he's-
even violence because he's a machine, so it's not
No,
technically
I'm
violence.
saying- yeah, that was
it's
kinda-
it's unnatural.
that was
Yeah.
what I was saying.
Yeah.
But the plot hole there is
Damn, she's looking like Paul Wall.
the plot hole there is the acid dropped on the floor right in
Yeah.
between where they were standing,
Yeah.
but the queen had not come off the drop ship yet.
Right.
So what was that acid dropping from?
I don't know.
Because see, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't
man.
make. The movie's ruined.
This movie's
goddammit.
bullshit.
It's bullshit.
How did the acid get there?
Nicole Kidman should have been blown off the top of the Empire State Building in Kong.
Naomi Watts.
Naomi Watts?
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Is she's from Australia too.
I
Same.
mean, all these starlets look the same.
she's
right?
the same
I mean,
thing.
I guess so. All the blonde ones do.
Well, actually, her Nicole Kidman, Naomi Watts, and Margot Robbie are about to be in a movie where they're playing all the Fox News interns, all the
Oh, really?
Megyn Kelly and
Thank
all
God.
this shit.
Oh wow.
So this is put the kid in danger.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Ripley going to come up with? You know, this is the okay. Now what? I thought they were safe.
Yeah, they played the goddamn flutes.
Yeah, I heard the flutes. I heard
Everybody
the flutes.
knows.
It was the flutes of like, now we got to figure out what's going to happen
And this
next.
is the line. The women empowerment.
Hold on. Blasting it. Oh, shit.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Feminism!
I want to drink from the cup of feminism.
It's amazing though.
God
I mean,
damn, I'm so happy to have womanizing Tim back again.
I never left. But it was genius. This is
Yeah. And then you're like, I knew that would come back.
This really is a very
I mean,
feminist
dude,
movie.
86 was the prime time for shoulder pads.
Well,
okay?
you gotta think about it. 86, yeah. Reagan. This was the time of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Rambo, and Commando. Like this was men, He-Man,
right.
women killers.
But at the same
Hey,
time,
even the women
but
gotta be men.
No, at the same time, this is also the beginning of like the female power movement.
Well, that's
and the sales force. They had the shoulder. That's the shoulder pads. You know.
Well,
like,
no.
That
well,
was
this,
a thing, though.
No, but this went against that. This went. Well, that was the women are secretaries or should be in a kitchen. This movie, or an Alien, you got to give credit to the first Alien too, being the first movie where a female was the lead, basically, and this went against all the Reagan muscles and commandos and the fact that the Space Marines all got their asses kicked.
Yeah.
And she's the only one that can handle it.
Even the most badass Space Marine was a woman too.
Well,
Yeah,
after
exactly. The best of
Yeah.
all of them was a woman. it's feminist without like being feminist, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it's girl power. It's like
but,
I said, like
but it's not.
that
But I'm saying
scene-
it's not being heavy-handed with it.
Yeah.
It was saying, hey, you know, this is a thing, and people want to see this happen.
Yeah.
It wasn't like shoving it in your face.
Are you making references to new movements?
Yeah, well, and it's credit to James Cameron, because look at Terminator 2. Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor was an extremely powerful female character.
She was ripped.
Yeah, ripped. Yeah. I mean, he had a thing
A lot
with
of pull-ups in his movies.
Yeah, a lot of pull-ups in James Cameron movies.
right.
That's true. Yeah.
And that scene, that was a deleted scene too. Wow. We just call this the episode of deleted scenes.
I have things to say about that. I got my final statement.
This, of course, was not filmed vertically, but horizontally.
Right.
With
Just laying
stuntmen
down.
pulling her legs on wires and stuff. I remember when I saw this, I was like, oh, that's kind of lame. That's the same way she killed the alien in the first movie.
Poor Bishop.
I've always wanted to know how they did that. But you could tell that's Lance Henriksen.
That's probably
a dummy.
It was probably animatronics.
But you could still see.
I'm
probably
that's probably animatronics.
They probably put in his.
Yeah. It was just a really good dummy.
He did some
Really good,
ADR on it.
They
Yeah.
probably used what they doctored up was left over from it getting ripped to
But I
half.
was like, man, that's the same way she killed the xenomorph in the first movie. She shot it out of the airlock.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of unoriginal. But then I was like, well, wait a minute. That's really the only way
That's
you
the
can
only way
fucking
you can
kill it.
kill him.
Is that
That's
the one
it.
thing? That's the one thing they improved upon in,
If they're
in
on a
Resurrection.
spaceship.
The death of the xenomorph in Resurrection is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it gets sucked out through the little
through
hole.
Yeah. And it's sad, too.
That's like the only. Yeah, it is.
And
yeah.
there comes that
That's
thing.
her son.
Da-da-da-dum. Da-da-da-dum.
Dun, 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 dun.
They ain't gonna have no more oxygen left. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. And I still don't know if
You know what made fun of that soundtrack so much?
a hole that big, I don't think.
Y'all remember?
I don't think she could have pulled herself back up that ladder.
Hitchhiker's Guide.
Well, actually, the bigger the hole, the less pressure. So it probably would.
Heyo! Talking about buttholes.
No, that soundtrack.
Nobody's listening at this
Never
point.
mind.
Yeah.
No, I'm listening. I'm listening.
What
No,
about
the
what about Dun Dun?
Hitchhiker's Guide? There's a scene in that where they like do that bit
That same
where it's
kind
like
of
where
thing.
they're zooming in on the Earth. Whatever they're about to
Oh,
blow
yeah,
the
that's
Earth
right.
up.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I'm
That
saying.
scene-
That's this, and this is where it
It's
started.
a total homage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where this started. Was in this movie, and it's been replicated a million times.
Oh, and their only true friend in the whole film was the one she was.
That she
Rude
distrust.
She was robotist.
That's a thing in the future. Yeah.
That's big. That's a big.
She was
that's a
like
big
she
thing
was
in the
like
future.
robot
thing.
racist.
Where they have that when the Marines they all wake up, they're eating lunch. They're like, "Man, I would like some more of that luxuriant poontang." It's like, "Yeah, yours was a man." And you're like, "Doesn't matter when it's luxuriant." So I was like, "We don't know what luxuriant means." So they just talking about like fucking clones or like
I guess, I don't know.
some
Yeah, I
kind
don't
of.
know.
See,
I mean, if I had a clone of myself, I'd
Look
have
at
sex
her-
with it. It's basically just masturbation.
her
'Cause it's your
Sigourney
clone.
Weaver's boobs, or lack thereof, to see if we see her non-butt like we saw in the first movie.
Are you body shaming right now, Tim?
Shut up! You did it.
I know I did it. But I
Hey,
didn't-
look!
but I didn't
Aaron,
We're
do it.
talking about because we
You
have
can't
we
body
have
shame somebody who's like famous and has made a legacy.
I didn't
Like,
do it publicly though.
There's nothing we're gonna say that's gonna detract. It's gonna detract from what she's done with her career.
Sigourney. I'm sorry.
Sigourney's done more with her life than we will ever do with
You
ours.
were-
So we can make fun of her butt.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's
That's
fine.
true. That's true.
But her boobs and that
I mean, Vasquez
That-
had them cakes though, dude. I'm telling you,
man, I'll Vasquez all day.
Vasquez
All
had
day.
cakes.
I would very much like to go kill some aliens.
Hey, I
with
heard you got
Vasquez.
some aliens. I heard you got an alien problem. You need
Yeah.
them things bounced.
I love you.
That's it.
We're here to bounce some aliens. You heard?
Yeah, that's the and like again like soft violins. You
Yeah,
know,
the woodwinds.
they'll
It's the
live-
woodwinds.
We got a
section.
very short amount of time. Final thoughts.
They give it the happily ever after, but Alien 3 does not start off that way.
Final thoughts, Tim.
Newt had 2 doubles. Final thoughts. This is like I said. This is one of my favorite movies. There is not much. He left it all on the screen. I guess I'd say. The cast was great. The time they didn't. They weren't rushed, which happens a lot nowadays. It was 79 in the first one. This was 86, so they had enough time, really come up with it. It is definitely one I will say is better than the original 100%. And like I said at the beginning, one of my favorite movies of all time for multiple reasons, not just because sci-fi horror. It's the allegories, it's the message, there's so much to it. It's the love that they put into it, and it's great for the time. And I will say, I will call this a feminist movie. And I don't think he meant for it to be, but I think it is
become that.
It works that way.
I think there's intention to
a
it.
female action hero, and I'm proud of it for that. So I'll hand it off.
Aaron?
I like it. It's fun. It's a fun movie. I just wanted to see what Tim would do. He was like, "Oh, fuck
you know what's the funny thing?
It was good. It was an improvement in almost every way on the original Aliens. Although I have a hard time even really comparing them because one is a horror movie and one is an action movie. So I mean, they are very different in that way, and they can stand apart. But it's good. It's a good movie. Good effects. Good everything. You know what I mean? I'm all about it. Except for that fucking acid blood. That's the only thing I'd cut. If I were Ridley Scott making this stuff up, I wouldn't have went that hardcore. That's just me. Go ahead, Zach.
It's okay. So it's funny, and this will sound weird because there's kind of like a connecting thing with the aliens thing. Is ever since and this is an honest statement. Ever since Last Stand, and how much watching y'all nerd out over comic books, something about that really made me feel like I've been missing out because I never really got into comic books as a kid.
Because you're lame, dog.
But no, the thing is with Aliens, I loved all of the movies, the prequels, the sequels, all that stuff, and there's a weird thing between Aliens and Predator, and I think I've decided that's what I'm going to be a fanboy over.
AVP
it's all the
type
comic
stuff?
book because there's so much lore behind them. Every Predator movie, there is a name to that Predator.
There's
and there's a story behind it.
Their race is called Jaitu.
There's the wolf. There's there's a lore behind Predator and Alien, and they're connected. And they started with movies, and then they became comics.
Yo, don't forget about Soldier, bro.
So anyway, I went long. I was hoping I could end it right whenever that happened, but that's it.
Well, no, in Predator 2, they did the trophy room. He walks on the ship, and you see the alien, the xenomorph skull.
There's a comic
that
lore.
started it. Dark Horse started it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I got some shit I can let you borrow.
There's also
I already.
There's also Batman versus Predator too.
I have Batman versus Predator, and I have Superman versus Aliens.
Yep, there's Batman versus
It's two
Predator
different
too.
Dark Horse crossovers.
Anyway.
Superman versus Aliens, Batman versus
I still think it's bullshit that all the special edition things got cut out because they were amazing.
It does make it a much better film.
So good night.